Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Ketchup and I'm joined on commentary as always by Mustard. And this is the Injustice 2 Intercontinental Championship. Now it's going to be EU East today, which means predominantly, the CIS regions of the world. We have Greece in there as well. And our top 8 is pretty much looking to represent that very much so. So first of all, Mustard, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm not bad. It's good to be doing this again. I know, of course, it's been a little while since we did this. I believe it was the online European Cup for the IPS. We last did this kind of commentary in this fashion, but I'm really excited. I think we have a nice handful of players ready to go. Of course, I think before we get too far into it, just to take a minute to explain to any of the viewers that may want to know what the Injustice 2 Intercontinental Championship is. The Intercontinental Championship is the international portion of the Injustice Pro Series. Obviously, Canada had Northern Arena do the Canadian League. There's been Liga Latina. Of course, there's been Injustice Pro Series majors all over the world with, of course, points leaderboards, which we're now at the point that we know what's going on. And then you've got the last chance qualifier. The Intercontinental Championship is the international part where there are 4 online tournaments for 4 regions being covered internationally. Of course, we've already had Australia where Wasminator and Gilbags, whoever take first and second. And the top 2 of each cup will qualify to the Vienna finals later this year. Actually, I say that in about 2.5 weeks. So not too
long
far
now.
away now at all, indeed. Of course, this is EU East, so we're covering quite a generous part of Europe, as we do have quite a lot of good players ready to go. And of course, we have Middle East tomorrow and then Europe West next Saturday. So today it's all about EU East, where we have players like Reiko, K-Top, Do Basic, Nivek, H-Dope, Get Blame, Alagil, and For Sure 7. So some familiar names and some new ones.
I think that's the big thing for me personally, is that we're kind of seeing a nice mixture here. And that's what happens when you sort of separate the cups between certain scenes, is some players that you might not really see in the later stages of a tournament, or maybe you just won't really see them that often in general because maybe they can't enter. Maybe they've got real life obligations. You never know. But once you start to separate regions for their own individual qualifier, it's a wonderful opportunity to actually really show the world what this part of the world can do from a top level and from a slightly underneath. There's some of these players that we haven't really seen before. And we're excited to see what they can do. K-Top is a returning face. We've seen him many, many times. Nivek, a staple to the NRS scene at this point. He's still competing and still playing. Injustice 2, one of the many games he's actually competing in right now. But starting things off, Reikio versus K-Top. I believe this should be Superman versus whatever character K-Top's going to use. We know that he's not shy of counter-picking or going with a character he thinks is the right character for the job. Reikio, as far as I'm aware, mostly Superman though, right?
As far as I'm aware, that's all he really plays. I know we've actually seen heroes here and there, or Reiko, I should say. Of course, he used to go by the name Heroes NZ, but now he's changed it in very confusing fashion. But we used to see him quite a little bit here and there, and it was always Superman. So I'd be very surprised if he isn't playing that today. K-Top, on the other hand, if we're talking about character choices, we know we've seen a lot from him too. I know he started off in Injustice 2 with Superman. We've also seen him play Black Adam, as well as Starfire. When she came out, we saw him use Atom as well during the European Online Cup. And that has kind of always been K-Top's style. I think both he and his brother H-Dope, we'll see some from him later on as well. But they've both been big believers of having a team of characters. And I feel like we say this all the time because, I mean, it's always true. This is the kind of game that having the matchups covered and making sure you've got a team of characters to go to is effective. And I feel like K-Top and H-Dope have always been big believers in that style. It does make it unpredictable as to who he's going to play. Of course, he's going to likely know he's coming up against Superman. So I guess the question is who he thinks out of his team is going to do the best in that regard. I know Atom is kind of, I don't want to say flavor of the month, but I feel like Atom really is getting stronger the longer this game goes on. And in terms of, I don't even think it's a matchup thing with Atom. I think a lot of players just genuinely do not feel comfortable fighting against him. I think Atom really breaks the mold in such a way that a player like K-Top that really thrives on doing what he wants to do will be great with a character like Atom, because the character is just obnoxious by design. So, of course, you've got someone that's willing to play in an obnoxious way with an obnoxious character. I think that's going to work really well if that's what he chooses to go with.
And I think when you go up against Superman, it's a very fundamentally sound, neutral-based, good buttons, good pressure. Not as good wake-ups anymore. I know, a long time ago when we saw one of those balance patches where Superman's wake-up game was sort of nerfed quite heavily. And that was kind of like the weakness that was given to Superman, wasn't it? That he almost seemed to be a jack of all trades. And I think NetherRealm wanted to make sure that he could still do what he was designed to do really well, but it was important to kind of give him that one weakness that could be dealt with, which is his weak wake-up game. So Atom, I think, one of those characters that by design kind of removes neutral. And K-Top is not afraid to play as disrespectfully as it comes, because his character choices across multiple games have always reflected that. And in Injustice 2, he always kind of played the irritating characters. And in Mortal Kombat X, he would play those high aggression, fast-paced run cancel characters. You know, he would play Thunder God Raiden, he would play Swarm Queen Devora, Dragon's Fire Liu Kang, Hishkatan Predator. Those characters that were entirely built around high execution and really forcing a game plan onto you. And I kind of feel like Atom is one of the characters that does that more than any character in the game. So interesting to see what happens while we get this match underway. The important thing to really emphasize here is just what these players are playing for. You know, let's not forget it's going to be the top 2 players of every qualifier making it through. Of course, we're going to play through the grand finals anyway, because we need to basically make sure who makes it through into the finals from a seeding standpoint. The winner of this tournament will get better seeding when they play live in Vienna in a matter of weeks. You know, this Intercontinental Championship will be fast and furious. It doesn't last very long, but I believe we have our first match at the top 8 good to go. The players now in the lobby. So we're going to do a quick test.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll let you go on.
I was going to quickly say before we moved on too much, we do have the players ready to go. We apologize for the delay, even though it's only been a couple of minutes, but we want to make sure that obviously we're doing a connection test. We know that we have had issues in the past, you know, with certain players in online, and it has unfortunately compromised I suppose the stream experience. As you know, obviously we have to talk about what happened last time. Obviously K-Top had some connection issues against Mantis and had to end up playing it off stream. We want to make sure that doesn't happen again today. So we are doing a quick connection test off of a screen. You can't see it right now with K-Top and Reiko, just to make sure that it works and they have a smooth connection with each other. So as soon as this is done, which should just be in a matter of minutes, we will get straight underway as the players are now in the lobby. And fingers crossed, don't have any problems with the connections. We should be smooth sailing from this point.
One can hope. You know, I feel like with the players that we have so far, it's not really going to be too much to worry about. K-Top, I know we had issues with him recently in the online cup, but I think today, you know, we've had online situations before. Obviously, you know, when we did our own first attends, when we used to do those exhibition matches for Injustice 2, K-Top would kind of appear in both Mortal Kombat and Injustice 2 as quite a returning customer. And let's not even forget the main thing that really allowed K-Top to kind of put himself on the map back in the earlier days was actually when we used to stream our community cups. Back in the day when we had the ESL community cups, it was himself, it was Mirko as well, his brother H-Dope. We would see them almost all the time. And that was where he was kind of able to show himself to the Twitch world as being one of the strongest Raidens in the business.
I think at the very least
see it, but he was using Raiden in the button check.
I feel like at the very least, it shows that he just thrives on competing online, right? It's something that he's always, you know, tried to do regularly, and this is a good opportunity for players like this. You know, I feel like there are a large portion of players out there, and I'm sure a number of you in the chat can relate to it. It does mean that, you know, just because you obviously play a game and want to be at a high level doesn't mean you have access to regular offline competition, especially in this part of the world. I feel like Injustice has definitely not had, you know, a huge international presence. Of course, there are scenes around and there are players succeeding and doing well, but it is not as easy to find a local community to play in an offline setting as it used to be. So these opportunities and players wanting to play online and being able to do so, this is what's important for them.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Reiko going in with the Flash. It's going to be the Flash. So I'm actually wondering if it even is Heroes NZ, to be honest with you. I must admit that we don't get to see some of these players on a more consistent basis in competition. So some of these players we might even be seeing for the first time. Not to say they're necessarily unknowns, but it's kind of going back to what I said about making sure these specific tournaments allow us to really see players that we haven't seen much before. So K-Top going in with the Starfire. This is one of his many, many characters. So against the Flash, it's definitely not going to be a bad pick. But that said, here comes the Flash's offense. It's a classic thing about the matchup. Extreme defensive Starfire versus basically the best rushdown in the game. So Flash has to work hard in that neutral, but once he gets in, he really has the ultimate advantage. It's 50-50 town into the highest practical damage next to people like Bane, of course.
It's just one of those matches of the opposites, right? But of course, there's quite an even start to this first life bar. Of course, it's first to 3, so we do have plenty of time left to go. K-Top trying to confirm off the down one, but not quite able to get too much. And look at the chip damage, almost killing, but Reiko staying alive. He's going to get maximum damage from this, but we'll spend the second bar just to make sure it's going to kill. I think that was really nice from Reiko just to stabilize that life bar as the glass, but I mean, at this point, yeah, it's going to be very hard. I wonder if that was just a hard read on the Tamaranian charge.
Well, I think actually one thing worth mentioning as we start this match is that we did see this exact matchup, but it was not K-Top, it was H-Dope. So Reiko has already taken out one of the brothers, and in classic way of competition is K-Top going to try and get that revenge. Right now, Flash making it easier said than done. Oh yeah,
we understand that's the desire, but there's a wake up meter burn as well, just the extra hit. But K-Top manages to get out of the corner, but at what cost? Look how much health he's already lost. At least there's no bar on the side of Reiko and no traits, so he can have a little bit of time just to build some space and maybe build some bar. So he's going to need as much bar as he can.
That's what I say. Is it borrow time that we're having to wait for those resources to come back? And now he's got it. And yeah, we're kind of nearing unclashable territory. So watch out. There's the reversal. The only time he was going to be able to clash. So that was definitely a now or never situation. He's going to win the clash. But now, if he gets clipped once, Flash is going to kill him easily. Nice. Good jump.
Wow, yeah, K-Top. Using the right version of that jumping heavy as well, just make sure it was able to catch.
That's the funny thing about Starfire, actually, that some people might not even realize, is that she can change her jump 3's hitbox. She can make it go in front, she can make it go back, short, wide. If you play, you understand, but if not, it's a very underrated tool. He gets to confirm anyway, and 2 times in a row, we're going to see that 2-bar confirm. Bam! Game number 1. We're going to be going into Reiko. Good stuff, but obviously 3 out of 5 territory here in Injustice. K-Top still has plenty of time to bring this one back.
I feel like that's just the Flash in a nutshell, right? He's one of those characters that just kind of he just screams damage. You know, almost every time this character opens you up, if he's got a bar to spend, he can just extend it so much just to do as much as physically possible. But it's off of a lot of stuff that it's hard to see, hard to deal with, right? He's kind of, in terms of rushdown characters, he is very much the complete package. You know, he has cancels, he's got unseeable 50-50s, and he has damage to boot, and he's got a trait that kind of helps all of those piece together. I feel like he's not, at this point in the game's life, he's the kind of character that I feel like, you know, it's not difficult to kind of just pick him and mix people up, but it's hard to really play him optimally when you're really playing around the trait properly. Because I feel the trait is one of the most versatile in the game, but it's very easy to waste it, and it has quite a long cooldown behind it.
And that's, as a Flash main, though, it really is going to be your responsibility to just kind of get that game sense. Gets the down 1 confirm. If you catch hair flip, you do have a little bit of extra time to catch that down 1. Not an easy confirm, but definitely possible. K-Top looking much stronger. Pressing 1 too many buttons. That's one thing about K-Top, is that even when he's minus, he still tends to down 1 quite regularly. And a character like Flash, he's just going to blow you up for that. Speaking of which, we're going to see a full combo.
As you can say, yeah, indeed. The moment you say he presses down 1 at some questionable times, he does just that and gets a full jump in, but he is able to stabilize. He does have a life lead again, and that's going to be the trait gone for Reiko, but there's the charge from full screen. Reiko, there's a double low, hit confirming. Lightning kick, going to extend the damage big time. Going to end with K-Top in the corner. Wake up. Oh, wake up with the interactable, unblockable. Smart stuff from K-Top, and he's built the space again. Oh, but straight under the projectile.
Yeah, we saw the meter burn forward 3 there from Reiko. Normally very common sort of option for dealing with a one-hit wake up, but if you have an armored reversal yourself, which is most of the time going to be an environment interaction, you got to respect it anyway. You're going to waste the bar and get hit regardless. Excellent anti-air on the down back 3. Very clean.
Yeah, that was swift from K-Top. He knew exactly what was going to happen. There it is. Oh, the big whip, but no attempt to go from Reiko. He made the read to call out that just neutral trait, one of the many uses, but didn't follow through with it. Ooh.
You keep falling behind.
Okay, here's the clash. We have to wonder what we're going to get from this. A pretty neutral situation, to be honest. A lot more bar in Reiko's favor, though. So, of course, we're going to go back to that neutral situation. Saving 2 bars, sometimes you would question that decision, but it's Flash, right? No, with punish from the high. That could be costly, because you know for a fact that was probably going to be a clash from K-Top.
Go block on the jumping heavy again. Reiko, he's down on life, but by no means is he out of this. The Tamranian charge puts himself in the corner, and a big call out from Reiko, knowing he was going to try and get out there. The armor, but not enough. So much damage.
Now the danger there is that Starfire kind of gets what used to be a mix-up on wake-up that only really belonged to someone like Green Arrow, maybe Batman as well. Wake-up attacks that are so plentiful but also good that in many times it can kind of be a mix-up of what wake-up is she going to go for. Now right there, he made the call on a single hit wake-up. Unfortunately, the meter burn hair whip just armor breaking the forward 3 completely. So, you know, if you expect her to do down back 3, you have to sit there and block it, let it whiff. If you expect the hair whip, you have to make it whiff or forward 3 it. But if she does one of the other wake ups that you're not expecting, she can actually beat your option with the other wake up of choice. So it can be kind of scary on the offense. It kind of means that you can never really keep a full lid on this character.
Yeah, and it's just one of the many strengths she has. But at the same time, you know, they are all punishable in some way. You just have to make the call out as to what it is. And obviously, some characters can set up to make, you know, beat multiple versions, but you have to really be ready for them. But there's a big opening now for Reiko as the first opportunity to get a launch in the game. He's going to do a full chunk of damage and already have K-Top cornered. Immediately with a rake up, big risk from K-Top, and that's going to be a full punish. Reiko.
But that, to be honest, that kind of goes into what I was just talking about, though, where we saw the sit there and block because he expected the down back 3 and he got it. If he did wake up hair flip, it actually would have no longer been his turn to press buttons. So in that one instance, Reiko made a very good call. Sitting there and blocking, expecting a jump, so he preemptively goes in for the air hover, but unfortunately isn't correct. Back to neutral. Well, here comes the trait, having to make the whole thing whiff. Can't really press the advantage, and unfortunately, all that's really going to do is slow down time. It's going to be a little bit in his favor because of the life lead, but a life lead against Starfire doesn't mean too much if you get hit by that one trait into meter burn.
Was able to get the reversal at the very least, so the first life bar goes his way, uses some of the time up, so he's going to have the trait back soon, but that's a long time for K-Top to just try and build some resources. Of which he's looking pretty starved, actually. K-Top looking pretty low on bar. And only half of his own trait.
Yeah, we're back to this very sort of like slow-paced neutral, and this is what the Flash has to do. He has to pick his attack carefully. Okay, there's the lightning kick. Confirm. Nice. Wonderful confirm, actually. Very impressive. Looked like a drop to me right there. Looked like he tried to get something else. Did not look intentional, and he's going to suffer for it.
Yeah,
losing a round.
A lot of that from Mareko so far, honestly. He's going for these kind of like wacky confirms. He's getting a lot of them, but when it comes to like cashing out or choosing how to end it, he seems to kind of like hesitate. And that hesitation is consistently making him drop things. As a character that really thrives on getting a knockdown setup.
Now that sucks. That really sucks, unfortunately, getting hit by the further end of that trait, losing his speed force because of it. Oh my word, watch out. That jump 3, such a wonderful button in this matchup. The hitbox is insane.
It's good use, K-Top. You can see him just trying to constantly fish with it whenever he can. Speed force. Oh, big risk from K-Top, but actually manages to recover in time. I wonder if that was a trip guard attempt from Mareko, but wasn't able to get it.
Oh, he commits.
No punish.
I don't know what's going on. With punish? What? Oh my god. I know he's trying to keep things unclashable, but come on. Oh no. I think that might be over. No, that's not punish. No, it's not. That could be, yeah, disastrous. Absolutely disastrous end to that game, to be completely honest. That was so unfortunate that I think he tried to just keep things unclashable. The problem is, he left the things he chose to end, the buttons he chose to go for to prevent the clash, didn't really leave him in a good situation and allowed K-Top to escape anyway. I think the better call would have been force the clash, spend all of your meter to hurt K-Top, and then play for that last hit. That would have been my advice, but we'll see.
It seemed like he had a good chunk of bar behind him anyway, so I feel like in those situations, it's like if you're going to commit to making them, not be able to clash, you at least have to be tidy with it. I feel like what he was doing there was kind of just prolonging the kind of spaghetti fest at the end. Of which he definitely wasn't coming out on the better end of, I feel like if you're trying to, stagger in, you're almost going to go for things that are neutral, try and go for some plus if you can. The last thing you're going to do is moves that are like seriously minus, and that's what he did almost exclusively in that scramble at the end. And that's what gave K-Top the moment to come to 2-1 now in this first series of winner's side top 8.
Look at that gear. Finals. Look at that flash gear, by the way. That is a ketchup and mustard flash if I've ever seen one.
A little bit. I can kind of see it.
80% me, 20% you. But that jump back 3, it's one of those things where she zones really strongly, not because of just the cluster, not because of her straight projectile, but her buttons too. Her jump 3 is one of her zoning tools. It's not, normally the community can sometimes consider zoning projectiles only, but she has normals that also get the job done, not getting caught respecting that cluster and eating it for a full combo. Just look at how fast the damage can go. That's why you've got to show so much respect. The trait catching the meter burn roll. Wonderful decision from K-Top, who is now looking very, very good. Match point. Got on the verge of a 3-1, getting revenge for H-Dope.
Well, there's that preemptive meter burn max 3. I think Mareko playing a little bit too far ahead now. He does not have the life lead to make these kind of decisions. K-Top, he's just trying to keep him at bay. He's managing his resource as well. He's got nothing left now, but that's because as soon as he builds something, he's using it, and it's being put to good use. There's a full stream running though from Mareko. He's going to get an opportunity, probably take the first life bar. Now, he absolutely cannot afford to let K-Top get out of this corner, but the problem is that corner, interactable, is really good for powered characters. Hang on a minute. No, we'll get the opportunity to. It's been an instant flash from K-Top, take Mareko out of speed force, make that trait come back, and get some guaranteed life back. Although,
one of those positions where you have no choice but to flash. But this does mean that everything Araki manages to land now, because it's Flash, open season. The triple overhead, no, drops the combo. That could be a game-ending drop, to be honest, because the combo drop has allowed K-Top to reverse momentum. He gets a block on the interactable, but look, going for the retreating jump 3. That one combo drop has now put us mid-screen, which is exactly where K-Top wants to go. Why is he going in? Why would you go in there, K-Top? What a mistake. What a mistake.
And that's all it came down to. I feel like the Flash of all characters is someone you cannot afford to give him a chance regardless. Flash down on like 50%, 60% life may as well still be an even game, considering the amount of damage this character can put out from a lot of practical situations. But all that came down to, again, it was K-Top choosing to go in when he had the life lead. He had meter, he had trait ready to spend, and he had full screen distance, but he just decided to go in. The cardinal sin of playing a zoning character was just attempted, unfortunately, and now it's put us 2-2.
The thing is, Mustard, that is very much a K-Top play, right? Is that K-Top is so rushdown minded because that is where he has crafted his playstyle. You know, just to remind you all again, he really made a name for himself back in the later stages of Mortal Kombat because of run cancel characters that are more aggressive than any other character in the game. That was how he played fighting games. So now he's playing Starfire. He knows how to zone, don't get me wrong. But there are split seconds where if you're playing a defensive keep away character and you have the neutral, you have to retreat. But K-Top in his mind wanted to go in and get that last little bit of damage up close, and unfortunately being at that range is exactly why Erekio ran away with that one.
But it has given Erekio an opportunity back in. Already interactable gone now for K-Top, blocked from Erekio. Well, K-Top is putting quite a lot of meter in the process. First hit is yet to be awarded, so there's a bar on the table waiting. But until you go to Erekio goes clean under for a full combo, and K-Top is cornered. This is a bad look, but no, it's a little bit too late.
Normally, dropping the end of a combo was like, that's okay, he's going to lose a little bit of damage, but it's not important. But if Flash misses that end, he loses like almost like another 200, surely some insane chunk. But again, the combo drop is allowing K-Top to sort of get up a little bit earlier. It's not just the end of the combo for Flash, it's the setup afterwards. And if you drop it, you don't get that setup. No! Loses the Speed Force too. This is the most unfortunate way to end a round and shows why K-Top is going to run away mid-screen. Okay, blocks the lightning kick, but just only needs a down one. He doesn't need anything else. K-Top on match point for another time. He needs to play this carefully though, because look at the bar difference.
And there's no reason for him to be patient there. I feel like Erekio has been in those scramble situations, dialing in, both hits for the down 1-2 into lightning kick consistently. So he's going to know to just sit patiently and wait. Tries to down one, but gets launched by the Sonic Pound. This might be the life bar. No, another drop from Erekio.
What happened there?
Execution is 1000% losing in this game so far. He needs to just tidy things up, or K-Top is going to walk away with this instantly.
You have to play Turtle against Starfire. You have to keep a lid on this character. You have to punish every single misplay. And Erekio has had a couple of moments to do it, but he's just not been able to seize the moment. He's going to get around, but I don't know. Even with the meter difference, I look at the fact that Starfire has almost all of that trait, and look, one of them does a third of his life. He can't get clipped anymore, otherwise it's game over. Uh-oh, this could be game over, Mustard. This could be game over.
Maybe. There's a K-Top in the corner, and he's got 2 bars. He gets the no combo again, and the maximum delay wake up from K-Top. Wants to waste as much time of that trait as possible, and Erekio walks straight into the jump heavy, and that's gonna be it. As the Starfire beam is going to take this one down, Erekio, I feel like he really let himself down there with those drops. I feel like almost every combo he got in that final game was dropped at a really crucial time. And we've all been there. We understand what it's like when you drop a combo in a crucial moment in the match and you drop it and it's like, it's not just you drop the combo and that's it. Obviously, you're going to be pretty annoyed about that. It's a question of how quickly you can just forget about the mistake, move on. And I feel like the more drops Erekio got, the more drops he would result in getting, unfortunately. But that's going to be it for K-Top. He's going to be moving on to winners finals today, 1 game away from making it to the Vienna top 8 if he can keep his lid together.
That's the thing about this tournament, isn't it? Is the fact that we have 2 players that make it into the Intercontinental finals live in Vienna in a couple of weeks' time. The fact that it's top 2 means that you're actually not playing for first place. You're really not. You're playing to get into grand finals. So if you're winners finals and it's 1 win sends you into grand finals, that's basically the hard work already done. And then the grand finals will just determine seeding in the finals, which ultimately that's going to be the important thing, because the goal is not to be in Vienna. The goal is to make the Injustice Pro Series finals, where you're going to match the greatest players in the world at this point. But that said, that's the seesaw effect of Flash. We've even seen like some of the world's absolute greatest Flash players, like Honeybee, for instance. When you watch Honeybee play in tournament, whenever Honeybee has a performance that is seen as underwhelming or lackluster by his world-class standards, it's because he himself is dropping a bunch of combos and losing setup and losing damage. And it almost makes you go, when you watch that happen, your thought is, oh man, what's going on? Like, it doesn't look like the same Honeybee we know. Because Flash, even though he's an amazing character, he demands perfect execution all the time. You can't drop a single combo, because if you do, you lose so much damage, you lose so much setup. And because he has to get in, he has no full screen tools, he does lose to zoning, he does lose to defensive characters, he has to crack the armor. So when he does, he has to stay in. And if you drop combos, unfortunately, he just can't do what he needs to do. And that's every single player who plays Flash suffers from those problems. And this was just another one of those examples, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes with the difficulty of playing the character, right? Because I feel like it's not even just conventional combos with the Flash. I feel like he's one of those characters that truly does have, like, you know, when you're doing those running man cancels mid combo as like B&Bs, or, you know, when you're trying to capitalize or go for a certain knockdown, because, you know, you can cash out for big damage, sure, or you can go for resets, you can go for, you know, funky setups, but ultimately it all comes down to execution. And if you're going to make those mistakes, you will pay the price in the end. Of course, we will be getting our second game up and running as soon as possible. We're just currently waiting on K-Top to lead the lobby because he is still in the King of the Hills.
Go on, K-Top, get out, scram.
Go on, shoo.
Beat it, kid.
But we do have our next game ready to go momentarily when they get in the lobby and ready to go. It's going to be, quite a juicy one. It's going to be Do Basic versus Nivek. And this is going to be one to watch because Do Basic really... If you are, you know, an avid fan of Injustice on Twitch, you've probably seen Do Basic stream once or twice as just an Enchantress player, right? He plays Wonder Woman and Enchantress, mainly Enchantress. It's basically a matchup thing, but he has like a super clean Enchantress. And of course, Nivek is famous in this community. He's probably the best fighting game player from Greece. I don't think it's, you know, anyone can really argue with his success across fighting games of, you know, many styles. Just he is basically a king of this genre over in Greece. And of course, NetherRealm was where he really made a name for himself. And Injustice 2, he had a decent year one. Not so much in year two. I feel like he's had a bit of a shaky journey with Injustice this year. He definitely hasn't lived up to his usual standard. But this is an opportunity for him to really kind of change things and, you know, maybe make it through to the finals today with... Actually, I don't know what character he's playing. I think it's been Supergirl or Starfire. I've only really seen Starfire from him this year, but I mean, never count out a Supergirl, right? You never know.
Now, Do Basic I'm excited for because by the looks of the bracket on Smash GG, he has used Wonder Woman to get where he's got to, according to the bracket anyway. But the main thing about him is that he is seen as a Enchantress specialist. You know, that's the kind of character that really put him on the map. But as things go in this game, Enchantress is definitely not a character I feel can win by herself. You know, she has some matchups she does well in. She's very tricky. She's very complicated. She's got some good tools. She's got some good buttons. She has a really, really dangerous trait if you know how to set it up properly. But inevitably, she has got some matchups she doesn't do very well in. So it's important to have a backup. This is the biggest thing in modern NetherRealm that I actually like, is that back in the days of Injustice 1, we would see so many character specialists that their goal was not to win a tournament or get top 8. Their goal was to be the highest placing player of that character. I never agreed with it back then. I don't agree with it now. I think the goal should be, especially when there's this much on the line, play to your highest strengths to win the tournament and consider yourself as the best with the character. Secondary. If the character complements your style, all the power to you. Just make sure you don't play that character alone, and if there is a bad matchup, you can cover it. It is something that basically everyone in the scene does now, and I'm so glad that we have kind of moved on from those old school days because the stakes are higher. The stakes are higher than they were back then.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing a character you enjoy. Like,
oh, by all means,
even if you're a competitive player, if you only actually have fun with, you know, a certain character, then play that character. But you have to realize what that's going to do for yourself. You know, there are examples of players that will play just one character and they will do fine for themselves. But then obviously you have to realize that they will eventually hit certain matchups, or, you know, that they will have to work extremely hard through a lot of different characters, a lot of different players, which again is fine if you're willing to put in that effort. But it looks like it is actually going to be Starfire coming out from Nivek and Enchantress from Do Basic. As we get started with another 3 out of 5 to go. Nivek is bringing out that Starfire and Do Basic with that Enchantress. Not a matchup we get to see too often.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're seeing some immediate matchup dependent stuff here, where we're seeing the Reflect come through as a means to counter her projectile, and we can see that forward 3. The fact that Enchantress' forward 3 goes further than anyone else in the game. Do Basic now are going to get the knockdown on, I believe that's the 1-2-2. Sorry if I get an annotation wrong, I don't play this character at all, but look at the conversions. And now the trait. Watch out for that overhead, mate. That is a near perfect. Do Basic. The Enchantress.
You're as naive as June.
That's an Enchantress sequence if ever I've seen one. Nivek, unfortunately, just on the receiving end of that from start to finish, and another perfect placement.
Good God.
3. I love the way Do Basic is playing this matchup. Like, it's so unconventional. Full screen, obviously, like, you have the reflect of the projectile, but it's not going to get through the beam, it's not going to get through the dust. But from point blank, Do Basic is playing this perfectly, a clean anti-air. All on accounts with the throw. Check Nivek. definitely didn't see that one coming, and Do Basic
just to
is
give everyone a
running
hint,
away.
Didn't Do Basic win Moscow Firing Arena with this character?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure he has tasted success with Enchantress before. Just to remind everyone, not to bring up Honeybee again, I swear I love you, bro, but this was a matchup in winners that Do Basic actually defeated Honeybee in the group stage. Ultimately didn't win the run back, but clearly his Enchantress, he has his head screwed in for this matchup. He knows exactly how to approach it. He's got the setups, he's got the neutral, he's got the damage. Nivek looking incredibly uncomfortable with this character as well.
Also, I love the way Do Basic is playing this. Obviously, one of the most annoying things is that dealing with Starfire.
Oh, Injustice 1
meter burn! There we go, the old days, 2013 tech right there.
That's the Injustice 1 Atlantis, man. That's the Atlantis.
Now, the thing is, one huge thing I like about this is the way Do Basic is playing on the wake-up game, and there we go, there's that jump too. But Do Basic, almost every touch he's getting on Nivek, unless he's in the corner, like if he's mid-screen, he's ending in the restand every time. And we all know that one of the most obnoxious things to deal with against Starfire is her plethora of wake-up options, and how you're going for the Oki, you have to make a read as to which one you think is going to happen. If you have a decent restand that you can get the majority of the time, you can, of course, eliminate that option entirely. And Nivek, wasting no time, going straight to Supergirl. He's going to attempt to make the change. Supergirl is the character he had a lot of success with in year 1 of Injustice. Of course, the character is slightly different, but fundamentally can still do a lot of the same things. And Nivek is... I think this is a good pick for Nivek, because she's a very fundamentals-based character, and Nivek has fundamentals for days.
Now, this is a matchup where you kind of look at the tools, though. So we're still going to see some full screen stuff. It's not going to be as slow recovery. The laser beams will be a bit faster. We're going to see a lot more airborne mobility. But the thing is, Do Basic has the reactions on the down 2. Enchantress is down 2 is superb. A good-looking hitbox, very, very fast. And clearly showing that he is not afraid to anti-air those air dashes. So will the matchup be that different? I don't really know. I feel like it might be quite similar, to be honest. It's the up-close game that Nivek's going to try and play around. He's going to try and play this kind of mid-screen neutral, but just that down 2. It's so good. It's so good. Splash
I get the background bounce. Yep, adding a bit of damage. Trait coming through. Of course, the minion doesn't really care about those eye lasers. He's going to go straight through and then parry. Wow.
Oh my god, watch out. He's making Nivek really afraid to press buttons, to be honest with you. Catches the long range low. And there's the spell. I'm not even going to try and say what spells they are, because I have long forgotten. No one plays this character. Alright, there it is. There's the soul steal. Your soul is mine.
Okay, still got Nivek back to the corner here, and that's a huge life lead, but here's an opportunity for Nivek to get out if he can. There it is again. Oh, but no, misses. Really can't afford to make those mistakes, as that's the worst kind of combo drop. Combo drop into being punished. Not what Nivek needs, but he's going to get a nice Hail Mary jump in. It's been an opportunity for Nivek to make something work. Do Basic kind of hesitant on the down 2. The one time he was hesitant, he actually paid the price. And just getting caught on wake up. I wonder if he tried to wake up and it didn't come out, whether he just disrespected. But unfortunately, he's going to lose the round on that poor decision. I actually think it was a really late anti-air attempt from Do Basic there, but of course he did end up losing literally an entire life bar on that. But the reflect, and Do Basic had already put in that forward 3. It still came out even after the hit registered. Okay, another one. Both players getting so much. I've never seen that orb in the background have so much just use out of it.
Oh, the restand. Excellent stuff in the grab. But that's actually going to send a message. If he's not afraid to try and tech a grab, I wonder if Do Basic restand, we're going to get that mix-up of, you try and tech, I'm going to press a button now, mate. Now the
yeah, but no. Nivek trying to go into the background a little bit too early there.
Good block on the cross-up.
Oh! Yeah, just a raw soul steal attempt from Do Basic, but it's going to work. And yeah. Oh, big call out. That meter burn back 3 from Nivek trying to get through, but Do Basic with the patience.
Right as Nivek
has a lot of bars to work with here, so Nivek flashing is not going to be an option as long as he's going to be losing the bar here.
Not even an opportunity to spend a lot of bar either. So Do Basic, I feel like he kind of misplayed that quite a little bit. A lot of hesitation, not really pressuring when he should have done. Went in for the delayed minion drop right as Nivek jumped, so it pretty much accomplished nothing. But because Enchantress, she's such a tricky character, has so many setups, you can commit so hard to one setup and they jump, they press buttons or whatever. They just do the one thing that you're hoping they didn't do. Good trade. Oh, the reset situation.
Oh wow, anti-air attempt again. I feel Do Basic is really thriving on his anti-airs. Obviously not all of them are working, but he's committed to the attempt. Drops the orb. Close game here. Nivek has a slight life lead, but he does have a clash also. Isn't a terrible situation for Nivek. He's got to watch out for that reflection shield, even if he has a life lead.
Getting rid of all those interactables. Unfortunately, they are doing a significant amount of shit too. Good blocks, and that's going to be game over. Wonderful positioning there from Nivek, and to be honest, I feel like that really could have gone either way. It absolutely could have gone either way. Just Basic didn't get a couple of opportunities that he should have got, and Nivek just, you know, playing solid as ever, solid as a rock. That fundamental character that Supergirl is.
But there's the character change, right? That's exactly why Nivek goes for it. Even though Starfire is an incredibly powerful character right now in terms of the meta, if you personally feel more comfortable in a certain matchup, or you just think the change is necessary, you need to be able to do it. And Nivek's done exactly that.
But you actually look at how he lost the first. Look at the health he had left, and then you look at the way the first round went. If Basic just didn't make those, pretty much those situations where he gave away free damage in the first round, those 2 instances where he got hit because he hesitated on a jump in, and then when he got knocked down, he just got hit by a raw jump in on a wake up. That entire thing was basically Basic giving damage away that was the damage difference at the end. Like, you have to make sure, how costly will every misplay be?
Isn't hindsight great?
I know,
what a
right?
Wonderful thing.
It's almost like it's our job to hindsight, because we have all the knowledge by watching the game.
The stages have been pretty interesting as well. I feel like these are definitely two characters that really benefit from a background bounce. So even there, I feel like Nivek tried to whiff punish with the background bounce, but wasn't close enough to the center of the stage. But they're both getting so much mileage out of them, and consistently we find ourselves on a stage with that being an option. Oh, even though it missed, it still came back.
This skill's just active for so long. So there's the jump in. We're going to get the spell, but we're going to see what spell it was. And the speed of the match and this stage, I've got to be honest, the effects for the spell is the same color as the stage, so it's kind of hard to see what spell it is. Either way,
so drop into a reset from Nivek. There's the classic. Oh, the overhead, the mix-up comes through. Obviously, this is going to do a huge amount of damage, but it is going to be no setup. Going straight for the cash out. Back Devin to be shown. Oh, I wonder if Nivek tried. That should be health, right? Yeah, the meter burn gets spent. Basic now getting some health back. Disrespecting the 3-hit string. Pressuring back, and he's going to get the round. Quite costly, though. He's going to lose all of his trait for that. I think it's worth it, though. Definitely. He has the interactable behind him as well, but no, he isn't even going to bother with it. He's going straight through. He has a huge amount of bar as well. Basic doesn't get opened up this time. There's going to be a nice opportunity. Straight to capitalize, evening things up. Almost dead even on bar also. This is again. Now that you can see this game. Oh, the overhead. Actually surprised Nivek getting hit by that.
Definitely not your traditional forward 3, is Enchantress's forward 3. Such a wonderful sort of counter-zoning tool. Can't get a full combo anywhere on screen, but it's going to at least be able to knock him down, give Basic a little bit of real estate. There he is again. Forward 3. So satisfying. The grab, finally. Nivek showing so much respect on those jump 2s that I think the grab was almost inevitable. Dash into down 1. It's actually low profile that high. Nivek a bit of a chance to come back. Oh no, missed the combo again. But at least, I mean, it is a hard knockdown, right? So even if you drop that combo, you still get a setup. Oh, it's active!
Oh, that was
so active.
Lovely capitalization.
Okay, this is danger territory. We're getting quite weak now. And now, if we get openings, we might see some uncrashable damage into potential death, to be honest, since the bar they both have left, especially to Basic, who has really been unable to spend any of his meter this whole time. Now there's no spell.
No, Nivek, he can't crouch. He's killing himself. He just crouched like 5 times and took so much damage because he was hit by the spell.
Magic.
And while he was taking damage,
he lost the life lead by crouching in neutral.
And while he was taking that damage, he basically gave himself like the damage immunity. He trades, for those that don't know, you trade your meter instead of your health. So if he's in a position where he's got loads of meter, he can win, but unfortunately, because the background bounce, it's not going to be enough. That is so unfortunate. He got a spell that was wonderful because actually doing the teleport hurt Nivek to do because there's a down input there. Unfortunately,
he was buffering a special with a down input while he had the anti-crouch curse on. So he was just losing, and I'll be honest, that's a generous amount of health you lose every time you crouch. So Nivek unfortunately slowly killing himself there, but was still able to take the game. So no love lost just yet.
Now, Basic actually going back to Enchantress. He does play Wonder Woman as well. And Nivek, you know, we've not even talked about Nivek Supergirl, but you know, this is definitely not just another Supergirl. Nivek was actually one of the before she got buffed and everyone started playing this character, he really was actually the premier Supergirl player. He did really well in the Injustice Pro Series last year. Was very close, in fact, to actually qualifying for the IPS finals. Did very well with Evo. Defeated some really, really insane players. He's defeated Coach Steve in tournament before. He defeated, I believe, Slayer in tournament as well, all with a pre-patch Supergirl. So, you know, he definitely knows a thing or two about this character.
Oh, that long range again, do basic. Deceivingly long footsies.
And here comes the boy, just casually strolling. But to be honest, the presence of the trait is what got Nivek to jump. That's why Basic was so ready for the anti-air.
But that's the importance of you know, just utility like that. It's not the fact of, you know, we've all seen the videos, we've all seen the Enchantress minion setups and all the crazy combos, but it's just the fact that you can pull something that is on a set path or has an option to do, you know, do damage for you. It's the options it eliminates just as much as the setup.
Here we go. Pressure comes through again. When was he going to release? That was the mix-up. Oh, just gets caught. The push. Giving him another knockdown. Delayed wake-up. Going to keep him alive for now. The interruption on the down one. Knockdown for another time. Basic really keeping Nivek where he wants him to be. And Nivek might start being a little bit squirmy now. Not going to be his choice to make. As Basic makes a wonderful sequence in the corner.
Yeah. I like going for the soul steal at a range that jumping is going to get caught by it too. Basic is again showing that he's a master of the spacing on these Enchantress moves. But that's going to happen when you play this character as much as he has. Set gets punished.
It was only
2 bars away.
For me, it was only a matter of time until we saw Nivek pull the trigger on that meter burn though. And here we go. Okay, full combo. Full combo. We're definitely going to see a minion set up here. You see the presence. The presence. Here he comes. He's just walking menacingly to the down two, just in case he jumped. Caught again.
Don't tug on my cape.
That was 100% just to try and cover as many options as possible. Basic, he knows he's got a strong life lead. He doesn't need to overcommit. Doesn't need to do anything too wacky. As long as he just plays solid, he should be okay to take this one. But Nivek managing to get quite a respectful amount of health left, to be honest.
Oh, that one hit low. Angle of that diagonal laser. Basic really feels like his game to win right now. Look at this. We're going to see a conversion again. Interaction. The only thing he could do right there, going into the air escape. That would have been death, I think. The Meatbun forward 3. This is just not Nivek's game. And it is entirely Basic.
Again, Basic again going for the soul steal, but he's safe at that range. Oh, and calling out the back one. Basic with a very solid game. You know, actually wonder if you reflect a projectile that like, you know, goes low to the ground, when it comes back, is it a low? Or is it a mid? What do you think?
I think it's always a mid, because I think it's just the angle, right? It's just the property of a move is only low if it's designed to be low. Angle very rarely has anything to do with it. So I'm gonna say it's a mid, but I'll be honest, I don't play Enchantress. I'm like, only 1% of this community plays Enchantress. That's why you rarely see this character. But when you see a specialist who is so good with this character, it's a real treat, to be honest. It really is. Basic putting in the work, streaming regularly, go and follow this guy on Twitch, watch his Enchantress gameplay. This really is a masterclass of how to use this character at a competitive level. That's the thing. Like, we can see the setups for days, we can see the mix, we can see the training mode setups where you've got a background bounce and 4 bars of meter and a trait good to go and everything else. But in tournament, this is where you take a fiddly character and actually apply them practically.
Exactly. And that's what we're seeing now, you know. Basic, he's been putting the work in with this character for so long, but of course, no, I don't want to count out Nivek. Basic definitely going to be riding quite a lot of momentum after that game, I think, because of how strong it was for him. But Nivek's been in this situation many, many, many times before, so I don't think he's going to be particularly too stressed out. We are going to get another stage with yet again another background bounce as we go to Metropolis, the memorial statue.
All right.
But I think that this is a good stage for power characters.
Right. Immediately getting the jump in. It feels like every stage as well actually has given us a background bounce, which is wonderful news for Nivek. He's always been so on point when it comes to, you know, positioning himself and using that background bounce to give Supergirl some insane damage. And Nivek, he's trying to answer back to this airborne mobility with his own down 2, and it's almost never working. But the active jump 1, and then give him some room.
Oh no. A little bit too much gravity used before the end of that combo, but Nivek's still going to be in the lead. But there's that preemptive instant jump light, but Basic has no reason to go in there. Oh, the big wake up.
He can't commit though. Nivek knows he can't commit. And it's almost like he just killed the minion there. Oh no! Badly placed forward 3. Death. Oh, air tech. Yeah, he's out. I don't think he wants to take the knockdown, because remember, the back 1, 2, 3 would have pushed him towards the corner, so he's just slightly outside of it. Yeah, forward 3, he can't really do it against those lasers too fast. The reflect. Yeah, challenging it again. Oh, so much range on the 1, 2, 2. Oh, the start of that reflect. Basic not letting Nivek get away with anything. Tries to hit confirm, but no, a little bit too soon. And there's another instant jump. Nivek getting so much of that. He's trying to shut down those instant jumps from Basic with one of his own. Now, he has to play this really carefully. With Nivek's situation, he can't give up any more life on his second health bar. Okay, there's the anti-air. Gets the bomb again. Soul steal for some knockdown presence. Nivek, very respectful. Basic kind of needs to kind of clip him one more time. I like how Nivek actually isn't deterred.
I'm trying to think of what that could be. I'm
really sorry.
looking at it.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what I can't remember what the spells look like because I haven't seen Enchantress in so long.
I know the effects. I just don't know what the names of them are. Now, obviously, one stops the crouch. You've got the one that stops you from stops you from using super meter, and a few other ones. But is this a question of recognizing which one it is at the time?
We must look so bad right now. Guys, I'm sorry. Leave me alone. Okay, anyway, there's actually match point both players.
The whip punish basic with the call out. Unclashable again, the trait. 4 bars in Nivek though. Oh, but is it gonna matter? He's gonna get the clash. Nivek. Now, the question is, will DuBasic spend his bar to stop health regeneration here? Because Nivek could potentially even things up in life, but DuBasic, he needs bar to really do what he's been doing.
There we go, reflect. Nivek, as much as he really wants to, he just can't use these lasers. It's so quick for Enchantress. Use the reflect! Walks into the down 2. And there we go. Meter burn for the soul steal. That is why DuBasic did not spend bar because he wants it. Gets clipped. And now the minion. This could be the game-winning minion. Gets the cross up on the jump 2. And there is the clash of DuBasic's own. Saving no bar is going to save him here.
2-2. 2 for 2. What's the read here? 2 for 1. He's going to get some health back to Nivek. He's in a rough situation now. At least DuBasic doesn't have to trait minion anymore. The block, plus frames. Yep, get into the jump because he knows Nivek's going to respect the plus frames of that 3 hit. A little bit of a whiff punish with the laser. Oh, instant dash just to go over the anti-air attempt. Oh, what? Oh, whiff punish!
The grab from that read! I don't know. That must have just been a hard read. But he's going to get set up on this. He's got so much space.
Oh, that forward dash out of the corner.
Galaxy brain and a half right there.
Not out, Nivek! Oh!
Wait, whoa.
Oh, the capitalization! He's still got it!
Who's going to win?
The forward dash! Another forward dash!
What is going on? Super! Watch out. I don't think he's going to spend it. I don't think he's going to... Oh, the jumping comes out, Nivek. So mindful of DuBasic super meter, expecting something elaborate, and a jump in's going to do it. That was a good scramble at the end, but DuBasic sticking with Enchantress, and now he's going to be winners finals where he's going to meet K-Top as well, 1 game away from sending Enchantress to the finals in Vienna. Like, that's going to be insane if we can see that, but what an ending. What an ending.
No, that was incredible. I feel like that's the best kind of scramble, where it's a scramble by definition, but neither player was particularly no one looked like they were panicking, not that they were getting stressed. It was still really clean play, even down to the final play. Nivek jumping back, seeing that DuBasic had a full bar of super meter, and having obviously the air dash in Super Girl that if he did go for super, he could obviously get out of there and avoid the chip damage, because supers do a lot of chip damage in this game. And I'm sure, I can't tell you off of memory, but I'm sure Enchantress does just as much chip on block for their super as the majority of the other characters. But bravo, really strong game from both players there. Unfortunately, Nivek going to be moving down to the loser's bracket, where he'll be facing the winner of our next match, which is going to be H-Tope versus For Sure 7. But of course, K-Top and DuBasic is that winners finals that we'll be seeing slightly later on in the broadcast. Winner of that match will be grand finals, which will guarantee them into the Intercontinental Championship finals in Vienna, where of course the winner of the Intercontinental Championship overall in Vienna is going to be a guaranteed invite to the Injustice Pro Series finals in November in Chicago. So still layers upon layers of qualification, but these players are ready to do it. And those 2 players find themselves 1 set away. Imagine that, 3 out of 5 away from being that close to making the finals.
It's mad, really, isn't it? That we've been seeing the Injustice Pro Series unfold. At long last, the rest of the world is now getting its own championship in the form of this Intercontinental Championship. And we're starting to see basically outside of the North America region, or that part of the world, where we saw, the Canadian League. We have been seeing IPS throughout the course of the entire year. But now it's time to really bring things back. We're going to see the CIS. We're going to see Europe. We're going to see Middle East, Australia, other communities that are super passionate about the game. But as of, very recently, haven't really had the opportunity to show the world what they can do in Season 2. It's only really been, we've only ever really seen this year, like Waz, Tekken Master, Shark Teeth, Happy Power, and Mantis. We haven't seen much of anyone else. And I'm glad that these cups are now here so we can finally talk about these guys, because we've known about them for so long. And maybe, the rest of the scene might not have heard of some of the players that we can finally see. DuBasic, unless you watch DuBasic's stream, you wouldn't really have heard of him unless you've seen Vienality, where you obviously heard the results take place. You saw his insanely legendary match against Irish Mantis, which was one of my favorite matches I think I've ever seen in this game. And it just kind of all leads into building the storylines for great players that are from places that aren't North America or Canada. So going into our first matchup in losers, I do believe the matchup is going to be H-Dope versus For Sure. H-Dope, the brother of K-Top, in case you're new and uninitiated, not quite sure, these guys are brothers. They've been playing together for a very, very long time, competing in online cups. We saw H-Dope in the MKX Community Cup days, just alongside his brother K-Top. They would come, sometimes take it in turns to compete in these tournaments, but H-Dope was always one to go with a little bit of the more unorthodox characters. In Mortal Kombat X, he played Leatherface of all characters. He played a lot of Leatherface. And in Injustice, for the longest time, he played Scarecrow. Scarecrow was a character he really liked to play. Not so sure about him these days, to be honest. We haven't really seen him a huge amount. So what the matchup will be, only time will tell. Same with For Sure, too.
For Sure, I believe I've seen him in the online world as a cheetah player. Or Vixen, and I say this because before we went live, I literally did like a ranked match, like a ranked session, and I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was playing cheetah. So there is my analysis on For Sure 7. I played him in ranked before we started, but of course he's gotten this far in the tournament, so he's managed to get himself loser side top 8. It was a very, very tidy cheetah, so I'm sure we'll be seeing some good things from him. But also, as you said, right, you're talking about unorthodox characters from H-Dope, Cheetah. We can count the amount of times we've seen Cheetah this year on one hand. I feel like we used to see some Cheetah from, of course, we saw Newbie and Shen in year 1. Really nothing after that for a while until we saw Biohazard playing Cheetah at Venality against Hayate. And that's about it in terms of like Injustice Pro Series activation. Of course, there are online cheetah players that do well for themselves, but in terms of like offline, major competition, we don't really see this character much at all. So I'll be quite curious to see how this goes at this stage, because obviously this is losers bracket action, so the safety net is gone from this point onwards.
I believe it was For Sure that defeated Pennywise as well. So Pennywise, the Poison Ivy player, that would have been Poison Ivy versus Cheetah. Another matchup they don't really get to see very often. For Sure, wasting no time, going straight in, and it's going to be the Vixen pick. H-Dope going in with Black Manta. Now, I can say absolutely for sure that I have never seen H-Dope's Black Manta before, but I like the pick. I like Black Manta in this game. I think he, in some ways, still is not underrepresented, but we just don't see him picked very often, and we all know that he's a really dangerous character. So excited to see what he can do. Black Manta is, my personal favorite character in this game, and I feel like he's in a great place in the game currently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Black Manta is just a super solid character overall. However, obviously, we know that Cheetah, or Vixen in this case, is one of those characters that is knows the way this character is supposed to play the neutral, and it's all very much about that dive, right? Traditionally, that's what we see. Whether or not that's what we see all the time, I guess we'll have to wait. But it is a very kind of chaotic, hectic, centered on movement, but of course, the low profiling also.
But to be honest, I think that's actually why we're seeing H-Dope go in for his... we're seeing H-Dope... I'm getting mixed up from reading his gamer tag. H-Dope's down back 2's the missile. Normally you don't see it in the neutral. Against Cheetah, who is so air heavy, I think those missiles will actually catch her in the air, and that's why we're seeing H-Dope go for it.
Yeah, of course. Especially considering that is traditionally such a common thing for Cheetah players to go to. It is the kind of thing they're going to be looking to stop, right? If you can really keep a Cheetah player out of the air, and they're a Cheetah player that really kind of thrives on the leap shenanigans, that's obviously going to put a bit of a stop in them. However, for sure, to be honest, a really commanding life lead, I don't think Cheetah even needs to go in at this point. It's like Black Manta has a huge amount of full screen options that Cheetah can't punish.
We're seeing a lot of errors too. A lot of back-to-back down ones that I can only assume are supposed to be down one in Command Strike, or the back-forward one instead. So, the chip damage is basically what Black Manta is entirely built around. He's very much similar to that Aquaman archetype where he will chip you for days, and just like that is how quickly Black Manta can just melt your health down and take it back.
Well, as a whole bar, I'm sure has a lot of work to do to give himself the same lead he had beforehand, but of course, walking into normals is going to be made that a little bit more difficult, especially considering H-Dope has been building so much bar in the process. Black Manta, such an animal in neutral if you find yourself in that right space, but no, gets hit by the overhead. And that was going to do a lot of damage, of course. Cheetah.
God, even before the clash, look at the damage he took.
Yeah, that's mental. Didn't even have the trait activated either. Not even close to optimal damage.
Watch out on that back one. It is a high, but it has so much startup speed and range on those two jump threes. We don't see the end. Probably tried to go in back forward to charge, but either way, he's still in a great position. Here comes the knockdown. He's now going to get another Mountain Strike. One more Mountain Strike on block is actually game over. There's the back three. Wait a second. Knockdown. He could win on one successful touch here.
Oh, overhead block. Still low again.
Oh no! Goes in for the instant jump. The hardest of hard reads. It's not going to work out. You know, H-Tape had no reason to overextend. For sure, betting everything on, I think he's going to jump, and if he does, I'm ready to confirm. If he doesn't, whatever. The game's going to be lost.
I feel like that's just what can happen, though, right? I feel like that was a perfect example of what this matchup can eventually look like, because we did see, for sure, with almost an entire bar of a life lead at the start, but it quickly disappeared because of. I mean, it's hard to even say where the damage came from, right? I feel like a big part of it was just H-Dope just hitting a lot of strings in the neutral. But then just as quickly, you know, as soon as that control is lost, Cheetah's going for the craziness again. And for sure, managing to take the first game. H-Dope sticking with Black Manta, though, so definitely seems to be his pick to go in the set, at least.
Oh, okay.
Freeze
so
frame.
here we go. We're going to go into this matchup.
Oh,
Instant
what a
neutral
read
jump.
from
Yeah,
For
that's
Sure.
the
Wow.
whole thing. Like, Black Manta has such fast buttons. It's very... He has a lot of options at the very beginning of the round. And For Sure making the perfect call out on the back one, which H-Dope is going to go for. Full punish. Full combo as well into a knockdown. Oh, God, she just does so much damage, Mustard.
She does indeed, but fortunately H-Dope is going to be able to stay alive now, but find himself almost a mirror of the last game. There's the spend just to extend the damage, and Black Manta actually does deceiving damage off a lot of practical options too.
Now, that right there is the magic trick For Sure. The second he saw the float, he went into the down three to make those jump threes with. The second you enforced respect as Black Manta, you can start going in for those floats, which go into jump threes, which goes into more pressure and more chip. However, I do think that she can low profile a significant amount of it.
You can see the knowledge bit from H-Dope. Every single time that For Sure is opting to go for those, you know, close leaps on block, H-Dope is every time trying to interrupt. He's done some down ones, he's trying to down two, but he is starting to lose out for it now.
Yep.
Ooh, instant.
Nothing swims between.
That was scary. That the second we saw the trait, if H-Dope got forfeit by anything there, that would have been a full combo, we would have seen some unclashable damage right there For Sure. At the very least, a meter burn back three, which would have been death with that trait activated.
Oh, but clean punish from that down two.
Pressure crushing you yet.
Unfortunately, going to get launched there. I feel like H-Dope is doing that a lot. Now he's starting, when he finds himself with a lot of bar, he's obviously going for those meter burn rockets just to try and get himself something on block. But he finds himself sitting on bar a lot of the time. For Sure has no real reason to try and go in with the leaps though. That's the mistake I think H-Dope is making. He's trying to occupy the space with the rockets. In a lot of situations now that For Sure has no reason to go for the leaps. Oh, but the big wake up, big read. And heavy punish.
Definitely no fear. H-Dope being careful.
Oh, wow.
Watch out for that. Yeah, the second he goes in to try and scout out the leap, it doesn't work, and dead. No unclashable needed on the end because those forward threes did so much damage. 1-1. Now that's going to be a complete turnaround, right? The second For Sure is forced on the defensive and it allows H-Dope to go in for the chip. He can go in for the Manta Strike. It's great. But the one time he got a leap, he went completely through the missile and killed him for it. It's such an explosive matchup, and is this going to be where H-Dope changes? Yeah, Aquaman against Cheetah kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Okay,
get the
so
bulk
I
of
like
that damage. Yeah, carry on.
I like this a lot because I feel like the trait is going to do wonders because whenever you find yourself getting launched by Cheetah, at least when you're standing on the ground, you have a long time to realize you're about to be launched. So obviously the trait and the Aqua Armor is going to do a great job of just stopping that. But I think the big thing here is the down two. Aquaman's space and just his options for just, you know, reaction punishing leaps and dealing with the kind of like, I suppose the on-block shenanigans that For Sure is going towards with close leaps. Aquaman in theory should be able to stop a lot easier than Black Manta was. Question is, will he find himself in a situation to do so, as now he's already lost himself 40% life.
Look at that golden Aquaman.
Oh, that's one to be afraid of. Because the second For Sure went for a leap there and H-Dope tried to down to it, the down two lost clean. And that's, in theory, a big reason as to why he would have picked this character here. Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah, we're going to confirm.
Oh, no!
Yeah, it is an unfortunate drop and a half right there. Commits to the back three anyway. I've got to say, I'm not sure about that decision. He had so much time to realize that H-Dope was not going to bite to that. Here comes the pressure. Chip for days.
Oh, gets hit with the very last hit, which means he has to hold the next one. Unfortunate time for For Sure to re-block. Yeah, spend the bar. Kill the life bar. No reason not to. That's a very gold Aquaman.
I just said it looks like an action figure. If Injustice 2
He does like an action figure.
Oh my god, and just kick him out. Cheater's gonna say. No, Vixen, more like. Where's my production line, mate?
It's confusing me as well. Why am I just a Premier skin, huh?
I missed it again!
No!
So many drops, mate. Stoke. This is so unfortunate. Okay, plus range. That's the respect.
All the low. That's mad. +2.
I can actually say I've never seen that string in my life. I feel like cheaters don't go for it, but in the corner, I guess he gets a good mix-up. Yeah, tries to go for it again. Yeah, but confirms on block. Nice awareness.
All the disrespect. For sure does have a life feed, but it's going to quickly escape him if he keeps showing this level of disrespect. Oh, and again, that's literally, for sure, just lost a huge life lead for no reason other than he refused to just respect H++ frames. That's all that came down to. He's now on clash because of it. Oh, hang on a minute!
Unclashable, back 3, no meter to tech. Oh my god, that hurts so much. Oh, the roll grab! That was the most galactic of galactic reads! Okay, he's gonna get a massive payout here.
Oh, the backdash come out! Be careful here. Oh, and he still did it! H-Dope, he went with the instant jump flight on prediction of that exact thing! And he did it! And the leap won. I actually feel really bad for H-Dope in that situation because I feel like the read was there. I think he just may have did it a bit too early. I feel like if you're going to preemptively do a jumping normal to beat the leap, you have to do it at like just the right time. And I feel like H-Dope just did it too early and for sure was able to see it and go for the leap instead. And an instant jump heavy as well from for sure. He knew exactly what option he was trying to beat out there and he did just that. But H-Dope, it was a close game, but he is the kind of player to go through characters. What's he going to go with this time, I wonder?
I don't think Aquaman was a bad choice, though. I think changing
that's it.
here...
It was close. It wasn't even like it was a blowout. I feel like Aquaman isn't a bad choice here. It's just a question of whether he believes his Aquaman could do it for 2 more games, right?
He seems very not sure on who he wants to play. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a fan of this. I think he's immediately going to a character change. Yeah, go back to Aquaman, man. That is the strat here. Okay, good. Now, the thing about this is, I think he's shown for sure he's not confident in this Aquaman 100%. And I think he's actually given for sure a nice amount of information here. H-Dope has just admitted, in my opinion.
I kind of don't know if it's worth looking into it that far though, because I feel like for sure he's going to be Cheater through and through, and the way Cheater is, and the way for sure is playing is like it's a very set style that fits him, and I don't feel like he has to think too much about what H-Dope's kind of hesitating here, because I feel like the biggest thing here is if H-Dope can get for sure blocking. I was actually paying attention. Almost I actually think it was like 90% of the time that H-Dope had him blocking anything that was plus, for sure would press a button after it. I felt like it was almost exclusively where a lot of H-Dope's damage would come from. Oh, and again, that down 2, still trading. That's not the kind of interaction that H-Dope wants. He wants that to be a clean anti-air, and there's a whiff punish.
Those grabs that Cheater can go for, he still has to make a good read on which direction he's going to block. It's a high grab and a low grab. Massive payout if he's successful, but if not, you get a whiff punish.
Oh, another anti-air.
Okay, sick.
Okay, well, that's a good turnaround for H-Dope. Even with a couple of combo drops, you can imagine if you can just tighten things up and play a little bit cleaner. We see something completely different. And another combo drop. H-Dope cannot afford to keep making these mistakes, especially against someone like For Sure, who has those max damage Cheater combos on deck.
The thing is, we know that the scoop into back 3 is quite a tight thing. But if you specialize in Aquaman, and we know H-Dope has been playing Aquaman for a long time, he really should have that execution down. The jump again, expecting a grab for another time. He's not going to get a full whiff punish, but he's going to get a block situation, which, to be honest, it's all he needs right now. Look at the life difference. The down 2 trading with jump 3, but again, with the life difference, that's trade in his favor. Again, just clean.
At this point, he can 100% afford to take those trades because of the tremendous life lead he has.
This'll make a fine cover shot.
Now, he's gonna probably win this trade, but this is kind of like almost like a lifeline clash. This isn't the kind of clash to bring you back into the fight. This is a clash to just stop you from dying, period. Goes in for the meter burn, but the clutch air escape, but it's too little, isn't it? Like, I don't see this being his game at all. Yeah, get off me. Get off me.
I feel like it's a big ask to avoid that little health against someone like Aquaman, right? That has tracking specials, big range on normals, wake-up options, aqua armor to stunt if you actually do open him up. I feel like Aquaman is one of those characters that if he has a life lead and you don't have a huge amount of full-screen options, it's really hard to break into him at all. And I feel like that's definitely what we saw there. Now for sure going to be sticking with Cheetah to no surprise. And of course Aquaman looking a lot better in that game for H-Tope. I feel like the big adjustment really was just, I feel like it was composure in the neutral. Of course his combo execution, and I mean look at that face. Check out that face. That is a man that wants this 3-2.
That is
a scream. That is I will win the scream.
For me, that's the face of a man that is trying to anti-air Cheetah's leap.
Begin.
But of course,
slow motion reaction of seeing a Cheetah leap towards you with straight activated.
Or goes down here again. Because I feel like the biggest adjustment there, like the problem H-Tope still has is his combo execution is still not so good. At least with Aquaman so far, but his composure was a lot better in that game just now. Of course, for sure finds himself with an instant life lead. Oh, the tentacle chases her down.
Okay, I actually quite like that option. Yes, again, the leap for days, goes in for the grab for another time, really committing to that jump 3, jailing into one of the grab directions, but unfortunately the past 2 games, for sure, he's just not been successful. But as a 50-50 goes, he's going to be right this time, and now the damage payout is going to allow what's basically going to be a round. That's what happens when you get the grab. That's why he goes for it. It is always worth it.
I mean, but that's the kind of play you have to commit to as a Cheetah player in a lot of situations, right? We saw last game H-Tope was jumping them on reaction and punishing them, but you know, yeah, you can't be ready for them every time. For sure is calling that out. Because now, for sure, a little bit lower life in this first bar, but no, the jump. Oh, the big read again. Ask and you shall receive. We talk about the payout. If those command grabs connect, how much damage you get. If you make that big gutsy read and you neutral jump him, she's taking a full jump in worth of damage, which with Aquaman, that's a lot of life.
Ooh, chapter jump 2. Down 2s, I mean. Okay, we finally get the clutch back 3. That's the first time he's actually landed that.
Now for sure, he's got 4 bars and he's got trait. In the online world, this means death. But can he make it work?
The thing is he going to clash? Yeah, he goes into the clash a little bit late, to be honest with you, actually. That little smidgen of damage he took because he didn't clash a couple hits earlier might come back to bite him. He's only going to spend 2 because he needs the other 2 to kill. Is he going to commit? Goes in for the back-to-back. Overhead does not commit. That's like an execution error, though, I think.
Oh, wow, they actually got caught on the start of the leap. Oh, there's a big back 3. What's this going to be?
Nope, doesn't spend it. Doesn't spend it.
Oh, he challenges it! But the aqua armor, right as we said, he took so much damage, but didn't get launched. H-Tope is still alive. This is loser's bracket.
I mean, he didn't get launched out, but he took so much damage.
I know. It does so much damage. Oh, and he's got the clash ready. H-Tope still makes it work, and he's got guaranteed bar to win the clash. But the problem is the amount of health he's going to have, that's nothing for a leaping Cheetah. But oh, he does it immediately.
He wasted no time. He goes again. He's being so predictable with the leap now. Commits. Oh my God, he commits to the leap. Dodges the jump. But that forward 2 just has so much range.
He just swung it from side to side. Take this. I will move on in loser's bracket. And that's going to be H-Tope for sure. And that was a really entertaining set, I'll be honest. That was super entertaining. Props to for sure. Of course, you know, thank you very much for bringing Cheetah to the competitive world. We do not get to see this character a lot, but when we do, it's always quite exciting. Of course, H-Tope though, we have to talk about the man of the hour, H-Tope, moving through to, I believe, fight Nivek this time. Yeah, so. It's going to be Nivek versus H-Tope will be the next round of losers. But of course, we have one more left to go in our top 8. But that was a really, really thoroughly entertaining series.
Now, I actually think hopefully we should be able to get the players into our next matchup sharpish. Get Blame versus Alagil. I'm going to assume that's how you pronounce it. I'm really sorry if I do it wrong. I have a bad history of just butchering a lot of these kind of like Eastern European names. So we'll see what happens there. But to be honest with you, we saw some a nice combination. I actually think that Black Manta and Aquaman do work quite well together. Black Manta is definitely more chip oriented than Aquaman, if you can even say that with a straight face. But that's definitely the case in my opinion.
I mean, but they're definitely the 2 that kind of fight for that right. You know, they fight for their right to chip you out the whole game, and they will win. I mean, it is party time when you can kill your opponent with chip damage. Isn't that right? Sorcerer Quan Chi,
especially Wait a minute. It's funny you should mention that actually, because I've got.
Oh no! Don't do it.
You can't see it, right? But I've got this.
I can't see it, but I know what you're talking about. I don't need to see it. Exactly what you're referring.
This was a gift. This was a gift by Mustard's fiance, right? Back when I had my prime days of Sorcerer Quan Chi, where I would basically defeat all of my opponents with the chip damage, which means that I am the biggest fan possible of killing someone while they're blocking. I think it's great. I think it's a great time. And if you've not done it, I suggest you give it a go. But yeah, next matchup in losers is going to be, let's consult the bracket. So Get Blame versus Alagil. We saw we've kind of seen a couple of these guys kind of kicking around in online brackets. We don't seem to see them all the time, but that's what these online cups are for, to finally see some players.
All right, of course, we will be getting to go very shortly, but unfortunately, as before, we are actually waiting for Shaw7 to leave the lobby so we can actually invite the other players in. So for sure, if you're watching, you're listening, because I know apparently he's not in the Discord anymore. If you can please leave the lobby so we can continue with the tournament, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Beat it, kid.
This is that's mean. That's well mean.
Beat it, kid. He might be older than me.
But it is going to be our final match of the first round of top 8 losers bracket coming up with Gitblame versus Alagil. So excited to see how this one pans out, as the winner is going to be facing off against Areiko. So it's going to be against the Flash we saw earlier in the winner's side. So there's still all to play for as we are getting through this bracket. And again, for those of you that may have just joined us as you move through towards the end of this first round of matches, welcome. This is the Injustice 2 Intercontinental Championship, where we are currently doing the online portion of the international scene for Injustice 2 in the Pro Series, where we are currently doing EU East, I believe, and we are looking to find who our top 2 players will be in today's tournament, and our top 2 players will qualify for the Intercontinental Championship finals in Vienna in 2 weeks' time, where there'll be the 8 players who win our 4 online cups. There's going to be EU West, EU East, Middle East, and Australia. Australia has already happened, and of course, this is the second in sequence, where our 8 players will play in Vienna, and the winner of that tournament will make it as a direct invite to Injustice Pro Series finals. So even though the point leaderboard is basically decided thanks to SCR being done and dusted, there is still the last chance qualifier in America, and there is still, of course, the Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see who those final players will be. They're guaranteed to be an international representation, and that's actually what makes me really happy. Is the Intercontinental Championship gives international Injustice a chance to get some guaranteed representation, because there are so many good players internationally that just don't get the chance to compete regularly, because obviously, it's difficult to get to every IPS event. The events that have the points, it's harder for some players than others, and that's just the way of life. That's just the way the cookie crumbles a lot of the time. But this is a guaranteed way to get at least one player that we know is like a top representative of this part of the world into the finals.
Okay, so I kind of, to be honest, I agree with you 100%. That's the thing, is that we spent a lot of our time back in the Mortal Kombat X days, and obviously during last year, where the European program was the path to pro. It was just a great opportunity to see, to basically kind of just see guaranteed representation of players that come from our side of the pond. We've been with a lot of these players for a long time. We've seen them grow. We've grown with them as a community. And it's wonderful to see them play in like the final stages of a tournament, right? So that time has come. Obviously, it's been a while since we sort of saw this crop up this year, but now it's here. The players are grabbing it with both hands, and we're seeing some really, really, really high quality gameplay. And that's the important thing, actually, is showing that a lot of our players, they are within that top level. The one thing a lot of our players would kind of lack is the tournament clutch, because we don't really get to see them in a constant state where they're playing in like a major top 8 or a premier top 8. I think the difference between North American players and European players across all their own games is always, I think, competitive tournament experience, where you're offline, you're on a big stage, you're in front of everyone, you got a crowd of people that are probably going to be rooting against you because you're not the hometown hero. But then on the flip side, we got to see players come into their element throughout Vienality, because we finally got to see our players in their home element, where there was an entire crowd that was cheering for the European guys. Even if the results, didn't aid that, we still saw Happy Power do really well. We saw Irish Madness do incredibly well. And it was an energy that we haven't really seen before, which I just really liked it a lot, and can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll find that I actually like that out of the cups we have and the regions that are covered with the Intercontinental Championship, we have so much scope for like a deceivingly large amount of players to do that, right? Because I feel like, especially considering, I feel like a big elephant in the room for those of you watching that might be thinking like, where are like the top European players playing? For example, which right now is basically Happy Power and Irish Madness, because they have now officially qualified for the IPS finals through the point leaderboard. They're actually not eligible to enter the Intercontinental Championship anymore, because this is literally just to get into the IPS finals. As far as I'm aware, there's not really any prize money. So it's basically just about qualifying for the finals. And because they've already done that, they aren't going to be in this competition. So that means we have an opportunity to see some really good players that might normally have been gatekept by them, aren't going to be here now. Just look at Australia. Of course, we have Wasmanator and Gilbags already qualified for the finals in Vienna, and Wasmanator is one of those players that in the NRS community has always been a strong player. But because he's from Australia, Australia does not have a huge NetherRealm scene. But the ones that do play are very dedicated. And he's always been a great player, just from a part of the world that we don't get the chance to see too often. And now he's guaranteed for a Vienna representation where, who knows, maybe he'll be able to beat all of the international competition and make his way to IPS finals. And the same could be said for anyone that finds it's top 2 per region. So that top 8 is going to be a fierce international top 8. And I cannot wait to see how these scenes that never get to play each other face off when they are playing for the scale of prize that they're playing for.
That's the thing, isn't it? Is that when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship, in these online qualifiers, we're playing for the top 2. The grand finals determine seeding, which will have a big factor in the Intercontinental Championship finals. But fundamentally, in these online cups, the objective is actually going to be the grand finals, not the tournament win. Now, when we fast forward a couple of weeks into Vienna, where it's going to be the 8-man team of the players that have made it all the way this far, only one of them is actually going to make the IPS finals. So that's going to be the absolute most important thing is, right now we're playing for grand finals. And then when we go into the Vienna finals, it's going to be like winner takes all to the highest degree. So we actually have got the 2 players in the lobby. Looking at the pictures, this could even be a Green Lantern mirror match if we can see some of the logos. But no, Atrocitus versus Green Lantern, perhaps. Yeah, it's going to be the matchup. This is a canon matchup if I've ever seen it. We'll see what happens here.
That's the Red Lantern logo.
Fighters approaching the
yeah, Jake. I realized what I said. I realized what I said when I said it.
Are you even an Injustice 2 commentator? You can't tell the difference between the red and the green lanterns. How embarrassing!
Hey, they had a silver logo, and I slipped
It wasn't red, so I didn't know.
Red Lantern is red, stupid. That's the Silver Lantern.
Oh, that's a very shiny
Still
green arrow.
out for justice,
Green
huh?
Lantern even. Ignore
Green
it.
Arrow?
Green Lantern.
Who's
Green
the
Lantern.
Injustice
Green
2
Lantern.
commentator?
I said Lantern. I said
Look at how
Lantern.
spiky Dexter is.
As a spiky cat. Of course, Alagil Gitleb. Again, we're in loser's bracket now, so the loser of this is unfortunately going to be eliminated. And their IPS journey ends here with it. But this is one of those matchups that we actually, as canon as it is, I can't remember the last time we got to see this kind of regularly. I know Atrocitus really was a character that was kind of popular early on in the game's life. I know obviously, being one of the beta characters, people got a lot of extra time with him towards the start of year 1, and Green Lantern being a legacy character means obviously there's a certain level of familiarity, even though his specials are completely different. I feel like there are a decent amount of players for both these characters, but still definitely more Atrocitus. So Atrocitus is definitely a more popular character than Green Lantern nowadays. Yeah, they both have very fundamental sort of like these solid tools mid-screen. They both have excellent mids. Atrocitus kind of has that slightly riskier pressure, I would say, but Green Lantern, he's pretty much always had this similar playstyle across all of Injustice. Injustice 1, Injustice 2, slightly different specials, but the same game plan. So if you specialize in Green Lantern at this point, you have some fiddly setup. We see that gross, we can see it right now. But so far, okay, gets caught by the third hit of that string. Not watching his feet, and now push block used at the last minute. Does not want to deal with the mix-up. Yeah, caught by the breath of the absolute max range. Gitlin trying to occupy that space again. That back one, such just a strong footsie tool in the neutral for Green Lantern. But of course, but that's the thing, right? Like, the back one in itself is an amazing button, but what it leads into is one of those things that there can be a gap sometimes depending on what special you go for. It really depends whether you're straight or not. But fundamentally, the back one is such a good whiff punisher, and because you can turn it into obviously spend trait for no bar, or you can spend trait and bar and get damage. It's a kind of character that really kind of thrives in the neutral. But of course, if Atrocitus has the cat out, neutral becomes a lot more difficult to play. Also, shout out to the shield being put in the air there when he's already defended.
I really like that choice actually from that range. He took the minus range, where normally when you see Atrocitus players go in for the Dexstar strings, they send Dexstar out because it means the projectile kind of lands a bit closer. You saw the push used just to challenge it before you even had a chance to press a button. Crouches, but no down 2. Okay, watching out a little bit. Plus frames. Oh no, challenges and just eats the jump 1 clean. Full combo.
Yeah, no bar to send it though, but back dashes into the bowling ball, and even though the cat is out, it will not matter, as he is not going to recover in time. The bowling ball's going to knock him in the knees and the ankles, and that's going to be a sore way to lose that first game. I think that was a really stable game from Gitlane though. I feel like Alagil is He's doing well for himself, but the biggest problem is I feel like when he doesn't have the life lead and Get Blame is full screen, I feel like that's where Get Blame is kind of struggling. I feel like he really wants to get the cat activated, but there are certain... I feel like in this matchup, there are certain ranges that the cat just doesn't really do a lot for you. I feel like universally, Atrocitus, it's very common to see someone cat walk your way in, put the shield up and get in. I feel like against Green Lantern, I don't see it working the same way. I feel like he has a lot of ways to stop you from just walking in, regardless if you've got the cat out or not. And obviously, he's always got those buttons, those options to just whip punish. If you even try and move in with the cat, and he's so low to the ground, even if you try and shoot the cat, it's not going to track him amazingly if he goes to the back one.
Now, one thing we actually see constantly in these online tournaments is how regularly these players swap between their gear. Now, I actually do think sometimes that even though the stats don't change at all, the visual differences can change players' outcomes. They go to what they would almost deem as like their favorite gear loadout, and it kind of almost feels like it has that mental effect. You play your favorite costume in a game, you're always going to feel a little bit better, aren't you?
I actually always have wondered about that though, because I feel like a character like Green Lantern that the shaders actually change the color of his visual abilities. Do you actually wonder if certain players try and pick a certain shader that makes the color as kind of I don't want to say garish, but as uncomfortable to look at as physically possible?
Maybe that'll be the next level strap.
Is that forbidden tech?
Well, what isn't the forbidden tech is Alagil just going in with Degstar and doing what Degstar does best. This has been such a turnaround. Definitely on the verge of a 1-1. We're going to see a knockdown. Goes in for the meter spent. 4-3. Full damage. And he's quite kill, but he's now going to get pressure. Yeah. Push block trying to go through. Ooh!
That was actually beautifully spaced from Get Blame there. Just standing out of range. Tries to go clean under. And again, we're talking about the strength of that back one. What an option. And just like that life lead has completely vanished from Alagil.
I'm not sure about you. I think I might have been disconnected from the lobby.
Oh, I'm paused on the clash.
I paused at a different time. I'm back at the clash. What's your timer? Mine's 170.
100. Okay, I am about 3 seconds ahead of you, unfortunately.
What? All right. Second clash, solo show. The PND Mustard show.
All right, welcome to the PND Mustard commentary hour, where we will be going to the rest of this match. As unfortunately, Ketchup is now 4 seconds behind me, thanks to a desync. But of course, still gonna be pretty even. Alagil did have a huge lead, but it's disappeared now. Oh, the stagger into the grab. Get Blame, he's really playing towards going for those, the shimmies and the next level stuff. He's really calling out Alagil with just these brash walk forwards. All set up going through, but again, another block. Alagil, he isn't falling victim to any of these Green Lantern setups. It really is the neutral who's losing most of his damage. The cat out. Moving in with it, push block immediately. Get Blame using his only bar to push block, but it won't matter. Oh, but no, doesn't block the overhead. But Alagil not confident to follow up the mix, but he will just get booted by the standing two. And Get Blame taking the second game as well. A shame for a turnaround for Alagil, considering he was so in the lead at the start, but not the way it was meant to be. So that's now 2-0 to Get Blame. Oh, look at that Green Lantern. Look how cool he is. He looks like a star trooper.
It's even better because in the win pose, when he's got the minigun. It's just the sickest.
I'll actually go as far as to say that might be the coolest Green Lantern I've ever seen. Space Marine hench with a minigun Green Lantern. When willpower is not enough.
Did he change? Oh no, he's gone in for a slightly different one now. No, he's gone in for the silver, the Electrum Green Lantern. Now, fingers crossed we should be back up to date actually. Sorry about that, guys. That's actually never happened to me before, right? I've sort of desynced with Mustard.
I mean, it's online, isn't it? It happens sometimes, unfortunately. But of course, we're going to be moving forward anyways. That's going to be 2-0.
Has your game begun?
It has now, yes. Begin.
I'm on 239, bam.
Yeah, we are exactly the same. How about
yes! That? We're back! We're back from the brink, baby! Either way, Get Blame. Actually, kind of what I observed in that previous match that Alagil had an amazing start because he, very much like here actually, he gets Degstar in the neutral before Mitra is built, before pressure can be established. But the second Get Blame builds up those resources, that's where Alagil struggles to play around. If he's going to win, I think maybe he's just try and win as fast as possible because when he gets the early lead, that's how he's doing well. But until then, he struggles afterwards.
Speaking of which, it actually does look like Alagil is consistently not being able to get the optimal ender to these blood puddle combos. He's trying to go for those down 2 into Degstar, down 2 into punch or whatever it is, but he's missing the down 2 and just getting the end, which is obviously putting him at mad frame disadvantage as Get Blame is getting off the ground. Ooh, it's a brave call out. You can afford to make those big risks when you have the cat behind you, and that's going to be again another one. Alagil with a strong start. Unfortunately, he used all of his resources to get that life bar, but absolutely worth it. But no, walks straight into the back one again. No leg. Green Lantern doing a lot of work already. setup time? No, just go straight for the wall. I think Gitblame has recognized that Alligal is just not really falling for any of these Green Lantern setups, so he's just keeping it conventional now. Oh, big hit.
I really love that shimmy on the back one too, because he's establishing so much pressure. The one moment he walks back, Alligal finally bites. It's almost like he's been respecting so much plus frames. The second it looked like he had an opening, he did not hesitate down one, and he paid the price for it.
Oh, and again, the overhead.
Not watching the forward three.
Yeah,
overhead hurts.
Not the first time he's caught slipping on the big hammer-fist overhead from Atrocitus. Imagine how much that must pain the full force of just pure anger in someone that big.
Okay, down one buffers into back forward two. Okay, we're going to see him catch it. A little bit of damage over time. Wake up, back three. Get out of my face.
Again, the end just gets a raw down two. Chooses not to go for the punch fight. I wonder if he intentionally decided not to do it. It would have put Gitblame in the corner. And all this Dexstar time is going. Set up.
I am very worried about Alligal. I think Alligal was just so focused on... What wake up? I've never seen a neutral jump.
Anti-neutral jump cat. Have you ever seen a command grab knock someone out of a neutral jump and put them down? And the damage over time and the constant punching is going to give Alligal his first game in the series. I'm actually I think it was super important for him to be able to take this one the way he did, because I feel like towards the later stages of that game, Alligal, he started to get a little bit cleaner, but there still were some execution errors coming through. And if you can win a game on the back of those errors, obviously you're going to be a bit relieved, you're going to be a bit more calm, and move into the rest of the series with a lot more confidence. I think a confident Atrocitus player is one to be feared, for sure.
I'm very concerned, purely on the basis, though, that Alligal almost lost that game completely because he summoned Dexstar in a really obvious part of the screen. And, you know, it almost cost him the entire game. He's almost very fortunate, especially on Wake Up. He blocked the jump in and then got hit by the back one, because I think he was trying to use Dexstar on block as well. So he's got to be super careful. Like, he won the game, yes, because he had such a substantial lead. If he does that in a less favorable position, he will lose a game on that kind of play.
Still though, a bit of an even one here. Alligal, however, using his trait just to get whatever damage he's been able to get so far, but you can see how without the cat, this matchup changes completely. Empty forward jump into back one. That was a call out on the half from Gitblame. I think he was maybe expecting Alligal to take an opportunity to go for a trip guard or something, but no! Oh, didn't get that in time! Gitblame, just momentary hesitation. Not in time. Oh, wow, that's unfortunate. Letting him summon the cat for free, but no, walking into it again, and another time Alligal is going to go for the cat, take some damage for it, and end up losing the cat in the process. That was a disastrous trait.
Yeah, that back one really kind of has been the bane of his existence too. The second he gets Dexstar, it's like he's more prone to try and use Dexstar and not block. And I feel like Gitblame is so wonderful at scouting out when he's going to release block. It's been sort of, you know, paying off massively for him so far. Tries to anti out the back three, just not the right angle. Commits to the low puddle. We haven't really seen that full-on Atrocitus commitment yet. We get down to the Dexstar. Here comes the pressure. Oh, and just raw though. Drops the combo though. Should not be too punishing though, given the health difference. I think that was a little bit too ambitious from Gitblame. You know, it's quite common for Green Lantern to block the puddle, forward dash, and get a back one, but I think he was just way too far away for that one to work. Oh, goes for a double jump in. Gitblame. I think it might be the first time we've seen him go for meter burn back three for the armor in the neutral. It's going to work out. Alligal going to be able to clash here. Guaranteed win. We'll spend one bar. Saving one for rainy days. He does have access to the cat. I think definitely will take the trade of the bowling ball just to make sure he gets trade activated. Oh, but no. Sometimes as a Atrocitus, you'll kind of use your life bar as currency just to secure trade. You're going to calculate how much damage am I likely to take summoning it, and will I get pressure afterwards. He has the corner positioning. Unfortunately, loses Dexstar, so he's going to have to kind of do things the old-fashioned way. Down one into puddle. That's going to be the old-fashioned way. Absolutely. And now the siphon, the health regeneration, the pressure, the down one connects into more plus frames. Gitblame really having a fight for his life with his back to the wall. Watch out, challenges the plus frames.
I think we were talking about how Gitblame was getting more confidence as match, but I think I actually feel like it's not really working out for him so far. I feel like a big part of this game is Gitblame is just failing to punish these cat activations at punishable ranges, and it really is giving Alligal a huge amount of space to work with that he probably shouldn't have. Opportunity though for some more damage.
One more opening, and Alligal was out of there. No flash. Either way, doesn't confirm. Just goes in, and that should be game over. The back one has been such a pain in the backside, and it will continue to be that. Gitblame just looking like the best player of the series so far. That back one has been such an eternal problem for Alligal, and it's almost fitting that that's the button that takes him out of the tournament.
Yeah, but that's just what happens, right? Like I feel like that was an interesting matchup of two characters that are kind of known for, I suppose, range on buttons. And I know, obviously Atrocitus has a lot more options for range, but Green Lantern, even though it mainly is primarily the back one in terms of like, just quick, speedy normals with good range, it's still faster than almost anything Atrocitus can stick out. So in those kind of like neutral situations where Atrocitus players want to press something to just occupy that space, Enforcer makes up off the forward too, try and keep someone on their toes. Green Lantern comes in with a much faster button, and I feel like that was the biggest mistake for Alligator, was just not being able to kind of contest with it. Because even if you don't have a button to contest, I feel like Atrocitus has means of staying a little bit further away. Where again, Green Lantern does have options, but if you can get the cat activated from a distance and get in, I thought a big part of it was activating the cat from a distance and then kind of trying to steamroll his way in and consistently running into beams, which was knocking him full screen, making him having to block lanterns as he gets off the ground, which was using up so much of that trait time that by the time he actually got in with the cat, there was so little of it left. I don't really think Gipling had anything to worry about.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes when you've used so much of your Dexstar trait, by the time you've got up, you'll get maybe one Dexstar projectile they have to respect, but that's kind of it. And then you kind of get reset back into a neutral position where if you've only used one bit of Dexstar that you've got left to try and pressure, as Atrocitus, if you commit to a mix-up, it's going to be unsafe without Dexstar's help. So is it even a favorable position? To be honest, I'm not so sure. But that does mean that we're going to be seeing we're going to see Gitblame move on, where he's going to face off against Arakio, and then we're going to see Nivek versus H-Dope. So we're going into our joint 5th position of this bracket. So we're still in the losers. It's still going to be elimination territory, but it means our matchups actually might get a little bit more juicy, because we know it's going to be K-Top versus Do Basic in the winners finals. They're going to play for a spot in grand finals, and now we're kind of leading up towards the losers final side as well. So Nivek versus H-Dope, very excited to see this match, because I know that of the 3 NetherRealm players, you're pretty much looking at them at this point. The 3 players that consistently compete and place quite well. They almost regularly kind of get seen in some of these European top 8s in some order. You might not always see H-Top there. You might not always see K-Top there. You almost always do see Nivek there, of course. But, they're quite returning customers at this point in time. So Nivek versus H-Top, hard to call. I know Nivek has kind of betted H-Dope quite regularly in the past, so my money's going to be on Nivek, but I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I don't know if you have similar predictions at all, Mustard.
I think it depends on who they play, because I feel like we obviously know that Nivek has access to Starfire and Supergirl. I've already seen Starfire today, but Starfire is a character that K-Top plays a lot of. I feel like Nivek's Supergirl is definitely better than his Starfire. I feel like he played Starfire. I'm actually not sure why he went to Starfire in the first place. I know Starfire is she is considered a very strong character by the community. She is hard to deal with for a lot of impatient players, or generally speaking, she kind of forces a certain degree of patience into you. And then some players do definitely struggle with that. But I feel like the time he's put into Supergirl and the kind of Supergirl player he is really complements almost, I suppose, more styles of opponent. I feel like his Starfire works really well against a certain kind of player, but I feel like his Supergirl is a bit more diverse in a sense of how we've seen him play Supergirl. It's so many different kinds of players from so many different scenes and still be successful. So I almost would just like to see him stick with Supergirl from the start.
I don't know whether he's going to go in for Starfire unless he feels like the matchup absolutely calls for it. Because the thing about Starfire is that there are some characters that she does such a wonderful job of basically just dismantling without needing to put in much effort. There are some matchups that she utterly destroys. So if Nivek finds himself in those matchups, then maybe that's when he goes for Starfire. But as we go later in the tournament, obviously Supergirl is his better character. I'd kind of expect to see him go with Supergirl for that reason, kind of like what you just talked about here instead. So let's have a look and see what we're doing here. Yep, we're just having to quickly remake the lobby, guys. So bear with us for a split second, getting the lobby back up and running. And we should be in a few moments, actually. So here we go. But yeah, prediction-wise, though, what's the number you're looking at? I think 3-1 Nivek. That's what I think.
I was actually about to say the same thing. I feel like H-Dope, obviously, we've seen that he knows what he's doing, but I feel like Nivek is just playing a bit better today. And I know that Nivek has been playing, obviously, Nivek made it through to the winners side and lost very narrowly in winners to the basic. I feel like Nivek is just playing a bit cleaner today, and we've seen that H-Dope, even though he did win his match and it was a very entertaining set, we saw a lot of drops from him, like a considerable amount of drops. And I feel like if H-Dope is able to clean it up, I think it might be 3-2 to Nivek. But I think if he's still making the same mistakes, it might be 3-1 or perhaps even a 3-0. I think it all depends on how H-Dope is able to kind of compose himself after what happened in the first set he played.
And we look at the potential matchups too. Black Manta or Aquaman versus Supergirl. I wouldn't say Supergirl does badly in either of them. I know that obviously you can Aqua Armor a lot of Supergirl's stuff, but you can still take significant damage when the Aqua Armor is active. That's one of the things we just saw earlier when we saw For Sure use Cheetah or Vixen, I guess. It's the more accurate term. Blocking a meter burn forward 3 when she's in trait prevents you from being launched, but did you see the damage Aquaman took there? And if Aquaman goes in for his Water of Life, or the Aqua Armor in general, if Supergirl does the meter burn laser, for example, I'm pretty sure the damage on that is insane, if I remember right.
Yeah, but that's just a part of the matchup, right? It's something you have to be paying attention for. I feel like I think that was arguably one of the biggest changes that Aquaman received in this game was just how much damage he takes when he has the Aqua Armor activated. Because it really is like, it was so strong in Injustice 1. Aquaman was just fundamentally such a powerful character. But the Aqua Armor was just an ultimate just denial of what it could do to you. But in Injustice 2, obviously, it's not just quite a free get out of jail free card as it was beforehand. Obviously that big adjustment against certain characters makes it not quite as, I suppose, as attractive as an option.
Okay, so I think the players are in our lobby, so we should be good to go soon.
Hopefully, as Nivek has just joined us and H-Dope has been here waiting for a few minutes, so we should be good to go pretty much as soon as possible. We have to remember, though, we are still in losers bracket territory, so it's still going to be one more chance for everyone here so far, which it's quite stressful, I can imagine, of course. Intercontinental Championship is top 2 of this tournament will make it to the Vienna top 8 in 2 weeks' time. So when you're this close, but potentially so far, H-Dope going in with Catwoman. Okay, that's a choice I wasn't ready for.
Yeah, definitely. Of all the characters I think we kind of expected to see from him, I think Catwoman was almost last on the list. In typical fashion, I've never seen him play this character. Now, I'm not going to pass judgment because, sometimes we have been incorrect here, right? That's just, just because we haven't seen someone play a character doesn't mean that I didn't use them. But that's one thing I was kind of eyeing up, actually. All level 1 gear. So he mustn't be grinding it on this account. I wonder if he plays Catwoman on a Smurf or something.
I'm not sure. Or at the very least, maybe it's just not, not something he's used too much. But of course, there's that clean down too.
Ooh. Nice out of the air right there. Now there's the knockdown. Nivek, the first play was a jump in, and it was swiftly anti-aired. So that's going to send somewhat of a message. He's ready for that. Commit to the cat dash, though. I wonder if that was a buffer that just did not work.
I'm not sure, but Nivek didn't punish it. Nivek just did not seem ready at all. Mixed up. Ooh. You see H-Dope, he tried to stand up there. He was looking for the fuzzy.
Backdash, okay, instantly challenged. A little bit of a scrambly first round, I have to say. Some punishes that have been missed, some shimmies that didn't quite work out. Full confirm into cat dash though. Right, we're now going to get that corner pressure. H-Dope has already built up 5 cat scratches and has bar. Spends the trait to kill. Not messing around.
No, not at all. And that's going to be a comfortable life lead now for H-Dope and plenty of time left to put that trait back up. Instant interactable from Nivek. Unblockable, realizing the range. But not a lot of damage for H-Dope to take. Not going to be too upset with that.
I'm actually wondering what this matchup's going to be like for Nivek, because if Catwoman does quite well versus Supergirl, if he has Starfire as another option, Catwoman does really well versus Starfire too. So I think this might be a very, very good character to use as like an anti-Nivek character, to be honest.
It does seem that way. The question is whether it'll actually pan out. We know Nivek, he has an option to change if he wants to, but the question is, again, is whether it actually does anything for him. But then again, Catwoman is such a common character, I feel like you kind of have to be ready for it. She's definitely one of those tournament characters that you have to make sure that you don't completely lose to, right? Even though H-Dope does look really comfortable. Instant with a down 2. Nivek starting to get pretty rash with these reads.
Lots of neutral jumps. Not much of them actually working out just yet. 5 cat scratches already built back up for H-Dope, who now tries to confirm, tries to air-to-air, but leaving damage on the table. Down 2 before he can even go in for the air breath. Lots of combo drops.
Yeah, the thing is he's dropping a lot of combos, but he's got such a lead, I honestly don't think it really matters. And that's going to be a very clean game 1 for H-Dope as he moves on 1-0. And I think that really is a question of how how competent you can be as a player when you play so many different characters all the time. You have to be good at switching between them. And I think it's a really scary ability to be on the receiving end of, right? Because it's really hard to play. You know, a lot of players out there will struggle to play even one character at like a competitive level, let alone, you know, a number of characters. But it's not just being able to play them; it's being able to swap between them effortlessly in the middle of a tournament series, to go from one character to another and just completely be able to change immediately.
But if you're like, if you are K-Top, if you are H-Dope, you're so used to doing it, it doesn't really throw you off too much. You know, it's very hard to do, I have to say. Like, if you're someone that is used to specializing in certain characters, and then, you know, bam, at the drop of the hat, you got to change from one drastic matchup to another. It takes a certain kind of skilled player to be able to do that. That said, Nivek, he's got into the exact same matchup. We have been given basically the exact same stage as well, so Fate's going to be giving us a run back of runbacks. So now having to respect the immediate challenge, though. I do wonder what Nivek's going to do to try and adapt.
Oh, wow, what a whiff
read.
punish. That was one of those kind of like half read, half reactions, I think. It was just he had an inkling that was at the range for the dash to come through. And exactly is what he got. But Nivek, corner repositioning. Not a lot of damage, but definitely just wanted the repositioning more than anything else. Oh, anti-air too. Oh, yeah, H-Dope
Doesn't want to commit.
But this really is that kind of matchup, though. You cannot finish your strings. You just have to fish for the single hits. Eventually hit, but the backdash is actually chased down clean. That's a huge amount of damage Nivek is going to lose for just backdashing. And again, wants to not take the setup at the end. Spends 2 bars.
Oh, almost fell for the same thing again, though. Oh, the down two to tech. The down two completely low profiling the Frostbread. I'm going to be honest, these guys have played quite regularly, I believe. I think this must be a Nivek matchup, you know, for H-Dope. You know, I've never seen him use Cattleman before, but I can only assume they've played in the past, and H-Dope just deems that against Nivek, this is the right character, because Cattleman does well versus all of Nivek's characters, and clearly it's a matchup that he's comfortable in too. So this was such a wise choice. Full combo, and that was a lifeline clash. That wasn't to survive, that was just to not die instantly.
Well, it's working out for him so far. This is looking really clean for H-Dope. Oh. Again, Nivek not able to get the confirm. So this is looking difficult for Nivek. I feel like the big part here is H-Dope is just not getting opened up by anything substantial. It's just wayward hits here and there. Nivek has to be so careful because his anti-airs have been on point. Everything about H-Dope is just playing this so perfectly.
Yep, not really going in for the meter burn either. Very nervous to go to that option now. He knows the down two has been low profiling and punishing. But ooh, speaking of which, another down two, but a combo drop comes through from H-Dope again. Doesn't matter because even though he's dropping combos now, the life difference is so insane. I mean, what's he going to do? Punish him with a round? He's already got more than, well over a life bar on Nivek at this point. 5 cat scratches, that down one, you know that was a down one trait.
No reason for it not to be, especially when you have this much life to work with. And even then, Nivek, I mean, just look at this. He's getting a lot of individual hits, but it just isn't adding up to anything.
He might be dead. Plus frames, tries to chase it down, and I think Hail Mary situation right now, he has to try and do something, but just, he's chippable at this stage. He really is close to death. How is he going to survive? Only a real two. Patience.
But that's the patience that won. There was no reason for H-Dope to stick anything out. I feel like this is ultimately going to come down to a matchup of a life lead. I feel like as long as H-Dope has a life lead with Catwoman, he can afford to be as slow and as patient as he physically can manage. Because we've already seen that he's not having a hard time dealing with Nivek. I mean, every instant air dash has been anti-aired, every jumping has been anti-aired. He's not getting mixed up by anything because he's just not giving Nivek the opportunity to be at the range that he can actually establish any mix-ups. And when he's got a life lead, he just doesn't have to worry about doing anything else. When Nivek going straight back to Super Girl again.
Okay, that double random coming through. Nivek taking a little bit of time to think about it though. That's the thing. You have to really sort of calculate the situation when you're this close to elimination. You have to factor in what's going to happen. So the randoms come through. It's going to be Gorilla City. I really, really like this stage. It complements Supergirl really well because she gets that background bounce, which gives her some damage. The environment that she can activate is useful too. But against Catwoman, she shuts down so much of it in the neutral because of just the range of her buttons.
I say that really is what it comes down to, the background bounce. I've already seen how difficult it is for Supergirl to get any big damage without bar. As soon as you add in the background bounce, she's just like doubling her meatless damage output at least. There it is. Now Nivek has the life lead. The question is, does he keep this going? Well, there we go. Down one connects. So this is the first time that Nivek's actually had a substantial life lead in this entire series so far. So I have to see how H-Dope plays accordingly.
Yeah, we are starting to see a little bit more signs of life. Just the first time he wakes up and it works. That's the thing about being a Catwoman player is that wake up is incredibly unsafe. But all things considered, if you use it sparingly, the one time you go for it, it's probably not going to be scouted out, to be honest. And oh my god, he bets the farm! And he gives H-Dope this entire sequence. Knockdown, no trait needed. And now, oh wow, guaranteed chip. Wow, wake up. No fear. He has no choice this week, right? He has to go for something. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Back three. It's that background bounce. Takes the round. And that was a wonderful sequence. He needed that so badly.
He did, but Nivek is just living on borrowed time right now. As you know, H-Dub is looking for his time to take the chip, and that's exactly what he's going to find. Second, he blocks the eye laser. That's just going to be a cat dash from as far away as he can. Now, still, Nivek does have a lead, but not a huge amount. He's managing his trait well, at least. H-Dope, he has those cat scratches ready to go. Ooh, with punish.
I think H-Dope must have seen Nivek in the air and just been so confident it's going to work. Down two, all right. We full combo as well. It's going to scale heavily because it was down two, but okay, yeah, there's the bait. Can't answer back. That's unfortunate. Nivek
still has two
match
bars to work
point
with,
for H-Dope.
You can see the air dash. He's trying to bait out the anti-air. He doesn't want to fall for it. And at this point, Nivek can afford to take those individual hits to chip him down because he does have a lead. But there it is, the trickiness. What? The cross up from H-Dope.
That was so funky. I know you could block that by holding down, but there's so many things that you could do instead. Okay, opts not to spend the bar, wants to keep the meters. We're actually kind of hitting that unclashable territory now, where if we see a stun, it's going to be meter burn back 3. It's going to be completely unclashable. Jump 2 is going to lose to jump 1. And now, there it is, unclashable damage. Nivek has to play this so carefully, but no! Commits for the grab right as H-Dope goes for the jump. And even against Forsure, we saw H-Dope make these wonderful reads on grabs. He's been on the money every single time.
He's clearly not afraid to just make those big reads there. Especially with those just the reads on the grabs. Just to get the neutral jump! There's the grab, Nivek. One hit away. Oh, and the Hail Mary wake up cat dash. H-Dope getting a little bit too comfortable, I think. Nivek manages to take a game back. That's one game down. Does he have 2 more in him, I wonder?
Now, the thing is, if you're H-Dope and you change characters regularly, now you've only got to win 1 game. Does H-Dope feel like he's achieved all he needed to with Catwoman? Is this when he changes and basically forces Nivek into a best of 1? He's done it before.
Catwoman.
But that just comes down to his experience, though, right? You know, we've seen before that Nivek is the kind of player that he's been around for a while. You know, he is Greece's #1 fighting game player. And you don't get that kind of like accolade because it's not like we're just giving it to him. He's earned it through a lot of success over a number of years. That doesn't happen unless you're used to playing on the back foot.
Hey man, Nivek was the Vianality champion for Tekken 7. He was able to defeat Ice Beam. He defeated Tekken Master in Grand Finals, and Tekken Master himself has been doing really well in Tekken World Tour. Like Nivek is no joke when it comes to fighting games.
Of course, the other realm is where he managed to make a name for himself. And even though I'm sure, you know, he hasn't been playing Injustice 2 a huge amount, you know, he said it himself beforehand, he's still showing that, you know, he's not just going to forget how to play it.
Still making those reads, right? Fundamentals of this guy. And when you play mobile fighting games, you develop those fundamentals. There's the conversion. Doesn't meter burn... Oh yeah, actually no bar to meter burn cat dash, of course. I was looking at the wrong side. Okay, having
there's the overhead.
Ooh. I think he was a bit hesitant there. Doesn't want to whiff punish that in case he walks right into it. He's taken so much chip already. And that's not going to be just chip. That's going to be masses of meter build for Catwoman as well.
He's playing around it though, Nivek. He's being patient. He's building bar every little tiny moment he gets the chance to. So much stuff just being thrown around this poor bar. Oh, late anti. I actually don't think that was a trip guard. I think Nivek just tried to press a button on landing.
No full combo again. H-Dope. We did actually mention how his execution has been his worst enemy today, and it hasn't mattered in the first 2 games because he has such a life lead anyway, but now he's dropping them when they're even. He cannot afford to leave the damage on the table. That active jump 1, I think that is a jump 1 or a jump 2, either way, it is working out for Nivek. He's pressing it at the right time. There's the whip trip.
So they wake up though to get around it this time. Doesn't want anything to deal with it. It's hard to say who really has the upper hand here. Oh, the anti-air loses clean.
Too early. He used it too early. And Nivek, he's been playing around that jump 2 carefully. Punishes the down 2. Not a full combo though. That's unfortunate. I wonder if he just mistimed his punish. Uh-oh. Confirm. What is this? Is Crust Central. This is the crustiest of games.
But Nivek did get hit immediately, to be fair. That was an interesting decision, but Nivek actually ended up losing the life bar on it, whatever it was.
Get off me. Having to hold, that's the problem. Watch out. Back-to-back down one. Just walk up, grab the tech. Very good tech, actually.
Oh, the down two. Nivek not afraid to throw it out himself, but still didn't do enough damage to kill.
Oh, the cat dash actually whiffs rather than being blocked. You very rarely see that from that range. Watch out.
Oh, that switch punch right to the face. That's going to do it. Nivek now, this is one of those make or break rounds. Nivek wins this, he's tied things up. Nivek wins, that's it. Nivek is out.
Okay, plus frames, push block on the very end, okay. 1 bar to get rid of the cat scratches. I'd take that trade. Right, disrespect. Caught by the back 1, okay. Oh, now, oh, under the whip trip.
Yeah, going clean over it. And again, but that neutral jump from H-Dope, trying to beat it, but a little bit too late again. I feel like H-Dope, his decisions are correct. He's just doing them ever so slightly not at the right time. And he's just off the mark. And Nivek, he has a life lead, but it's meager. Oh, just like that, I think it's disappeared.
Tries to whip punish the back-to-back whip trip. And even from that range, oh no, input error. That was definitely...
Oh, he caught it down too!
Uh-oh.
Well, he wants to keep on clash. Yeah, I think Nivek's realized he's having a really hard time getting any substantial damage, so he's just going to deny it. Just go for unclashable and just try and win the war of attrition.
Playing
the jump!
Forcing H-Dope to play... He's forcing H-Dope to play neutral alone, and the neutral is where H-Dope has currently been losing, but now he's got a clean opening, massive damage, and now we're going to be in that clash situation. Watch out.
Oh, there's down 2, yeah, of course.
Punish. I mean, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Punish it with a down 2. If he meter burns the Frost Breath, then you go under it anyway.
Now, yeah, of course, 3 tying up. So now
Danger.
H-Dope has to be careful. He has nothing to clash of his own, but nothing to go through with the damage either. No! Not quite enough. The air attempt from Nivek.
20 seconds on the clock. Almost a timeout here. Oh! What is going on? Oh no!
Oh, and the chip damage from the late cat dash in a complete show of just discipline and patience. H-Dope narrowly manages to beat Nivek, but managing to do so off of the back of an amazing adjustment. I feel like that was the biggest thing from a H-Dope there, was just the ability to really slow it down. Because typically we saw from Nivek before, he was able to, kind of really put H-Dope on ice. He was able to really slow him down, and that's what he was struggling with. But that final game, H-Dope, he was able to really just adjust to the speed that Nivek was forcing them to play at. And even down to just the final moment, just seeing the delay wake up and taking some guaranteed chip accordingly. Really well played from H-Dope as he moves on in this loser's bracket.
It's one of those typical cases of an amazing adjustment that seemed to be made a little bit too late. The second Nivek was able to kind of calculate, right, we need to massively slow things down. We need to stop overextending, play one button at a time, and try and win on the neutral and not be afraid to play the slow game. We almost saw a timeout in that final game. The problem is, because he kind of just hastily gave up the first 2, he had too much of a mountain task, because, not to take away from H-Dope, he had earned those 2 wins that he got at the beginning of the set. But that was 2 wins that went just like that. So with those things in mind, it goes to show how costly 1 or 2 games can be, in the long run. This was elimination territory, and you had to really give up as little as possible. Nivek, we know he hasn't been playing as much recently, but he's still at this tournament, and he is still expected to give 110%. And right now, H-Dope just played better on the day, and he's going to be moving on in the lower bracket, where he'll be in sort of top 4 territory now. Up next, it's going to be Irakio versus Get Blame. So Green Lantern versus Flash is what we're expecting. This is a matchup you don't really actually see in this part of the world. That's a very sort of popular North American match, especially last year during season 1. But that said, I'm excited, and it's hard to call, actually. I would probably favor Irakio over this. I think he's had a really, really tidy Flash, making a few mistakes. And to be honest, I don't think Green Lantern can punish you for those mistakes as much as Starfire can.
I think it really depends on, again, how Irakio plays it, though, because I feel like the biggest thing that held him back in winner's side against K-Top, even though, we have to remember, it was 3-2 against K-Top. So obviously he had a really strong showing winners, even though he did end up losing to K-Top. It was 3-2. He was able to get it really close. And a lot of it was like gutsy reads, like point and blank, just anti-airs, with waves to try and catch him out. And I feel like against Get Blame did most of his damage just on the ground. He was doing a lot of it, just getting that first hit in the neutral and then just turning that into damage, right? Sending full screen, playing around. I feel like Get Blame spent most of his time against Alagil playing around Atrocitus, whereas Irakio was trying mainly do what Flash does, right? In a sense of enforce what the speed Flash wants to play at and what Flash wants to do. So this is going to be one of those clash of styles games, in theory anyway.
Right, so I believe we're actually just kind of waiting for Get Blame to join the lobby. We have Irakio already in here. In terms of players, now while we actually wait, I want to kind of look at our bracket right now. And just actually a quick FYI, our prediction was minimum probably 3-1 to Nivek. It actually was 3-1 to H-Dope, so a complete mirror of what we were expecting.
Oh, yeah.
Of the players that we have here, who are we expecting to be top 2? I think it could very much be K-Top Do Basic as our top 2 players.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that currently based on what we've seen. Purely because I feel like out of all the players we've seen today, they really do seem to be the cleanest 2 players we've seen today. Of course, there's all the scope in the world for us to be wrong. You know, I almost think we are, just so it's a bit more unpredictable. But K-Top and Do Basic, I feel like really are playing the best today. But of course, that's an assumption based on what we've seen so far. There's still plenty of this top 8 left to go as we move into this next match in Reiko versus Get Blame and Loser Side. So we can talk about that, I suppose, next when we do the winners finals after this.
And let's make this quick.
Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup. We know when there is a high-level Flash, he can be one of the most stressful characters in the entire game. And just look at that immediate patience. I think that might be foreshadowing that he's not afraid to sit there when need be. We'll see if it works.
That back one again. We saw Get Blame get so much mileage out that back one before, but not going to happen the same thing here as Reiko is going to take a lot of damage at the start. Spend the second part, of course he does.
Here he is. That's the Flash. Knockdown pressure of 560 damage, and he's still got pressure afterwards. There's the turnaround. Nice conversion. Forward 3 as well. And here comes the full combo. Now he's going to get pressure. Tries to go in for the plus range, but they wait to kind of deal with it. Okay, that's such a popular option. Going in for that back 1 on the end of whiffing a button. Just baiting them to press a button against you.
Corner escape into meet, but back 3. Reactionary whiff punish. Get Blame. Wonderful start for that first life bar. And he's got the interactable. Oh, he does, but there's the meter burn roll. And the trade. That was
so sick.
That was really sick. That was like a hard read for Reiko. Trait and meter burn roll.
Watching out. You have to watch out whipping that back 1 against Flash, because he will whiff punish you for days. Lots of patience. Green Lantern, he's going to have a stronger neutral, obviously. He has the plethora of projectiles and full screen capabilities. But at the end of the day, this is the Flash. His whole game is to be as patient as possible, learn how to get in versus each character, and then, you know, mix. Everyone has to hold that mix. It's still a 50-50 whether you like it or not.
Exactly. It's just a question of finding the time to do so. And I think it's definitely easier versus some characters than others. It depends how much they can kind of just occupy the space you need to get into, right? There's going to be a full combo from Reiko. Now, this is a huge deal breaker here. There's no clash on the side of Get Blame. Well, lucky there's no trade, but catches the air tech. Wow, but don't misses the combo.
Oh, I don't think it might be enough. That's enough. Yeah, mix up anyway. Back 3.
Oh, maybe not.
Hurts.
Oh no, goes for setup instead.
Oh god, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Get Blame there because he guessed wrong like 3 times in a row, and when he finally guessed wrong, it went into a grab anyway. Like that was just mixed city, which is what Flash does best. That's why this character is so dangerous. That's why he's never been considered bad in this game, because he has the best mix-ups in my opinion. And he has, you know, some of the highest practical damage, and they are a hand-in-hand combination. Also, I'm starting to see some of our North American champs in chat. Welcome, guys. I know we're kind of reaching that time of day when everyone's starting to wake up in that part of the world. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hopefully you're enjoying this Injustice 2 Intercontinental Championship for the EU East. Look at Green Lantern's face with that head. That's amazing.
Oh my god.
Scary.
I turned away for like 3 seconds while it loaded, just to check on the bracket and have a look at chat, and then I turned back and he's just got this gaping wide mouth.
That helmet with that mouth genuinely scared me and made me feel uncomfortable.
So there's been the first hit again going to Reiko, and it's going to be spent. And the trait, that is a unfortunate way to start off to Get Blame. Playing that wake up every time, just got one Sonic Pound. We're getting up in the normal speed at the very least. Ooh. Instantly answered back for their reversal. Okay. All right, we're going through. I think the bowling ball is one of the only things that you can kind of consistently work around, because the slow projectile with Green Lantern, you can kind of loop it into other things. So if you're going to be going in for the shake, it kind of gives him that real estate to go in and pressure you while you're minus doing the shake, you know? One of those situations. But okay, wonderful round number 1. Answer back with the interactive. You're only going to get one of those. Oh, Speed Force undone. Facing through a regular, he has the life lead. Obviously, every time he phases through, he's going to be building the bar, he's just doing the special. So every time he phases through something, even nothing is gained in terms of life, he's still going to come off better for it.
He's giving Get Blame some knowledge. Yeah, he's giving Get Blame some knowledge. And yeah, I don't know why he didn't just finish the combo. Maybe he predicted an air escape.
Perhaps.
no, sorry, what I was actually going to say before that moment was that we've seen quite consistently here that Reiko, he's been challenging those plus frames with one of his super fast special moves, and it has worked up until the last time he tried it. So Get Blame, he has to watch out. If he's throwing in those plus frames and Reiko is challenging now, he's going to just give him free damage. Staggers.
But also there, I think we have to pay attention to just before the clash, we saw once again Reiko, he went from the Speed Force into immediate meter burn roll, which means that if Get Blame has done anything at the time of him popping the Speed Force, that is going to be punished by the meter burn roll. I like how Reiko's done that multiple times. It's really working out for him. Now Get Blame, he does not have access to a clash anymore. Set up. Ooh.
He was trying to block, but he was holding back, which gave him a walk forward. Boom, combo. And that is why the flash, when you have no clash, is so scary. That was 2 full combos, and he's basically dead. He is going to get some of those staggers now, plus frames. He sits there to respect, instantly blocks, but can't quite get the punish, or at least the minus situation. Plus frames again, but immediately answered back. The air techs, but it's not enough to survive. Reiko playing that so wonderfully. And this is actually looking to be quite a quick game, to be honest. Is this going to be a 3-0?
Maybe. That was a really smooth chase down on the air tech as well at the end there. I feel like that forward dash, it would have caught if he didn't air tech. And if he did, obviously it did, because we just saw it happen. But that was a really clean end from Reiko there. I feel like this is a lot tidier than what we saw from him in Winner's Side. And even then, in Winner's Side, it was 3-2. So he wasn't playing the cleanest. We can clearly see he's capable of playing.
Look at his face.
Still 3-2. I'm gonna look.
It's the wrong way around. Damn it, it's the wrong way around. I was really excited for a second. That's one of my favorite, because everyone kind of has a favorite character when they get hit in this character select, right? I'm sure everyone does. Their favorite face, my favorite new face, is that helmet and that Green Lantern getting punched. My favorite thing to look at.
Incredible. But this could potentially be the last game you guys will lose bracket. See Brainiac chip, one of those stages that I kind of feel like everyone low-key kind of doesn't mind getting, but it depends on how it's actually going for you. If you're winning, the stage is great, and if you're not, it's like, man, I hate the stage.
And then if you win it, it's like, man, that's my favorite stage.
Oh, he's down one challenge. He wasted the bar on the Sonic Pound too. That was actually really good for Get Blame, even though he just took some damage.
Yeah, it's definitely not damage, it's resource losing, isn't it? Now, plus frames again. Now, fool me once. It's not going to happen again in the second game. He's punished this time. Answering back, Get Blame. Really kind of wise. He's wise to the disrespect, that's the thing. I'm not sure Get Blame was actually expecting to land behind. I love he committed to a string that didn't exist when you're going the other way around. Speed Force confirmed, full combo. Brainiac as well. We might see the reset.
Oh, actually one of that's what he went for. Oh, the catches the jump again. And the immediate wake up from Reiko. Even though Get Blame won the round, Reiko was able to even things out a little bit. Of course, this is exactly what Get Blame needs. Empty jump.
That was actually... That was very much a crucial block too. You know, we're kind of sitting right in front of Brainiac. If we had that 50-50 after Drake had just run out, we were going to still see an easy full combo from Reiko. We had that immediate conversion with Brainiac behind the challenging again. That's such a consistent answer. Plus frames goes through Sonic Pound. No bar necessary to take the second round, and it's going to be basically match point for Reiko. Oh, and again, turnaround so far. Again, it's forcing out the clash, man. That's the thing. Those early clashes are never good. Like, you have to do them, but it's not beneficial.
Well, at the very least, in this situation, I was able to get Reiko out of the Speed Force. Now that's going to be coming back again, but I feel like now the clash is gone from Get Blame. That's a whole life bar that the Flash can just delete instantly if he gets the right opportunity. Now he doesn't have Flash here, the air tech comes through. So that was actually a really good air tech from Get Blame, but no, back to back, and he does not have the bar. But a drop from Reiko. This could be what Get Blame needs.
They're the worst drops that happen, but fortunately, even if you drop a combo and they don't press the button, it's the Flash. He's still going to mix, and he's dead.
Oh my lord.
4-3. Say goodnight. That's going to be the series.
Welcome.
The Flash wins.
To advancing in the bracket, my friend Reiko, as he moves on to fight H-Dope now and loses semi-final. And unfortunately for Get Blame, that is going to be where his IPS journey will end in a 3-0 fashion. But Reiko, I think it was good. You pointed out before the set started that this could be the result you were expecting to see, but I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely kind of reserved because again, I feel like drops and combo drops are something you have to be really, really, really careful with someone like the Flash, and we saw a lot of those from Reiko. That set was a complete turnaround. He dropped almost nothing, and what a complete different result because of it.
That's what happens. The second you leave no damage on the table, you leave no stone unturned, right? That's the classic thing. And it's kind of goes back to what I talked about. When you watch these top level Flash players drop all their combos, it's a 9-day difference of how they perform in the match because you have to. It's almost, I'm not going to say he's a glass cannon because health is pretty universal in this game. But if we had vastly different health bars in a game like this, I'm no doubt Flash would probably have the lowest HP in the game because he is the pain train that just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Massive damage into, mix-ups into 50-50s. It's excellent. But you got to make sure you have that execution. You nail those confirms. He has the highest ratio of combos that have those small little conversions that you have to go for off, how much of your trait is left, how late is the combo, what's the gravity looking like, and all these little things that can work wonderfully if you have the execution to pull it off. Now we have our top 4 decided. 4 players left in the tournament. Only 2 we'll see in Vienna for our Intercontinental Championship finals. So we're starting to reach the end times of what is important about this stream. So we have 4 players left. 2 of them make it into our finals to represent Eastern Europe. And it's going to be between H-Dope, it's going to be in between Erekio, and then we have K-Top and Do Basic in the bracket. Now, I talked about predictions. I personally think we're probably going to see K-Top and Do Basic from what the results have said. But when we're in the losers bracket, that's where people can come online, and that's where they can start to play their best. Or as a player, it can make you play bad because you're scared of being eliminated. So many players have all these different ways of handling tournament pressure. But we have some character variety too. We have Aquaman or Black Manta. We have the Flash. We have Enchantress or Wonder Woman. And we have Starfire coming out from K-Top, who I'm assuming will probably play Starfire again. But to be honest, with our next matchup, which I do think is K-Top versus Do Basic,
yep,
I'm wondering if we're actually going to see K-Top go with Starfire. Because we saw how Do Basic just he made that matchup look really easy against Nivek because it was just a level of comfort. It wasn't even the fact that Nivek Starfire looked bad. It's that Do Basic looked really confident in that matchup.
Well, the big thing we saw Do Basic doing against Starfire against Nivek was, of course, good use of the shield. I think that the reflection shield against the standard projectile is huge because not only does it reflect a projectile, which obviously stops you getting hit, it does mean that it forces a projectile back to Starfire. So she can't exactly just throw back-to-back projectiles as fast as she would normally like to, because of course now there's a projectile coming straight back at her. But also means that obviously, if he finds himself that space, he can go for a forward 3, he can go for a curse or a hex. But I think an even bigger thing here was every touch was being ended with a restand. And I think the restand really was the deal breaker there, because it was a restand that, now I don't know if the restand is plus when Enchantress does it. I don't know if she's guaranteed a button or if it's just like, resets you back to neutral and just eliminates the wake up, which in itself is strong enough. But taking that away from Starfire seems huge.
I am very excited. They're in the lobby. It's going to be K-Top versus Do Basic. It's going to be one of the best players in Greece versus the Enchantress God. This guy has really sort of put Enchantress on the map over in this part of the world. Starfire versus Enchantress. It's going to be the matchup that we were kind of talking about. Okay. For those that have just joined us, the Intercontinental Championship is going to be a 4-part online tournament series with 4 different territories. The top 2 of those cups make it into Vienna to play in the top 8 finals offline, and the winner of that later in a couple of weeks makes it into the Injustice Pro Series Grand Finals as the Intercontinental representative. So whoever wins this match in the winners finals is going to guarantee themselves in the Vienna finals, because it's at least top 2. These guys are playing for top 2, not top 1.
Oh wow, and there's that max range forward 3, and you can see the range that Enchantress has to back it up to Do Basic. Oh, that is a fortunate miss from K-Top.
Now restand. Get full combos, and this is, are you watching what I'm watching?
Yeah, I think so.
K-Top! I'm gonna reserve myself.
So this unfortunately happened in the IPS EU Cup as well. I could only assume it's because of how far away these guys are from each other. We know that Do Basic is of course Russian and K-Top is from Greece.
Oh, I really did not want this match to be off stream.
I mean, it's a deciding match, right?
It is. It's like I just said, it's top 2, it's not top 1. So this is very important. This is an important match. We'll find out what's happening. We'll see if it cleans itself up. But for now, we're going to go with round number 1 for K-Top. And now this is that full screen.
Oh, so actually, I had no idea that Reflection actually got the sparks. That's really cool. That does mean 2 of the 3 projectile options get reflected.
Now, there's the pressure, but she basically has taken a lot of damage. This is the danger. And the down 2, I actually wonder what it's going to do against those jump 3s as well. But for now, air dash. Okay. Meter burn roll, which is one of those kind of like Hail Mary options at this stage, and that's going to be a very easy game number 1 for K-Top. Now, we'll find out what's going on from the spikes that took place in that first round, and we'll find out what's happening. But for now, we'll just assume it's going to be game number 1.
Yeah, of course. Like, we will make the assumption that we're continuing as normal. But of course, we'll wait to see if anything's happening or if the players bring it up. Because of course, you know, if just I feel like we have to play devil's advocate here. Even though last time in the EU Online it was definitely K-Top, that does not automatically mean that it is this time. You know, it's the internet. There are connection issues. It happens. It does not automatically mean it's one player's person's fault. So we'll have to see if it continues to be that way. But for now, of course, that was 1-0 to K-Top, and he's now 2 games away from making the finals in Vienna.
Well, we'll see if it's going to be enough, because game number 1 looked a little bit uncomfortable. Debasic kind of needs to... She can be a very frustrating character to fight in Starfire. So when you're in this position, you've got to make sure that it doesn't affect you. You kind of stay cool and calculated as much as possible, because she will run away with a win if you let her do it.
Sparks, we're not quite in range to connect. Ooh, Debasic looking really impatient so far.
I wonder, I actually think he might be flustered. I will be completely honest. He is just holding forward. He's holding forward here.
But the thing is, like, he needs to not be there. You know what I mean? At this level of play, like, you know, being frustrated with a situation is one thing, but you cannot let it ruin the way you're playing. You cannot allow it.
No.
Just going to go for the reflection. Another anti-air too, you can see again. Oh, attempt to wake up with K-Top. Not going to let it happen.
And well, to be honest, it depends on what the players make of the situation. I'm assuming this might be this might be an off-stream match, folks. I will assume, because this is a very, very just to remind you guys that this is a very important matchup between these two.
It would not be as important if this wasn't the qualifier to the finals. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All right, we're gonna get a combo, but it's dropped. Oh dear. My word. All I can really say right now, well, they're playing on as is.
Yeah, I mean, if the players decide to play on and say nothing, then it is what it is. You know, if they decide to go on with this in mind, it is up to them. You know, it is the player's choice ultimately. You know, we cannot make the call to just say this doesn't count, play off stream. It is ultimately up to if the players want to do that. If Debasic thinks, or you know, K-Top thinks this is not an acceptable connection, then it's up to them to bring it up. You know, we as the spectators are, you know, not a fan of what we see, absolutely, but it is up to the players to make that call, as it is ultimately them that it affects the most. Even though this is the longest mid-round animation I've ever seen.
I mean, I've got a feeling this is gonna, and K-Top lagged out.
And it was K-Top that left as well, on my screen at least. Obviously, we'll have to see what it said for the admins, but unfortunately, very unfortunate to see that happen.
Well, this is basically one of those opportunities. This is one of those occasions where I can only assume, much like the EU Cup that we did. So just kind of give you guys some backstory. We obviously will be very, very transparent with what happened during the online cup for the IPS EU portion. What happened there? It was Irish Madness versus K-Top. Irish Madness versus K-Top was a match that very sort of dominantly went in K-Top's favor due to, and this is by no means am I blaming a player. I am 100% actually not putting the blame on a player, but the situation was K-Top versus Mantis. K-Top won the series. Unfortunately, though, the quality of the online connection was basically as you saw there. So what happened was the call that was made by the powers that be and the folks that are running these tournaments that take place right now, they did have Irish Madness and K-Top play off stream. When they played off stream, the lag was not a factor, and Irish Madness basically reversed 3-0 that situation and actually ended up winning that tournament. And through winning that tournament alone was the reason Mantis actually is in the IPS finals. That online win he secured that day because of the call that was made to make them play off stream was the only reason Irish Madness is now sitting in the finalist running for the IPS finals, right? So these calls are important to make. The team have made the right decisions before. And right now, I can only assume that the team are actually making the call to find out what to do. Unfortunately, from a viewer's perspective, when lag does kick in a match, it's unfortunate. We want to watch it just as much as you guys do. We can only apologize for what we're seeing so far, but rest assured that the right call will be made to make sure that it is in the spirit of fair play, and we'll find out who should be qualifying for that finals in Vienna.
But ultimately, isn't that is ultimately the most important thing? You know, from a spectator standpoint, you know, it is unfortunate to see that kind of thing. Or, you know, we watch fighting games just as much as the rest of you guys, right? And we don't like seeing that kind of thing happen. But ultimately, with what they are playing for, you know, this is the Injustice Pro Series. This is the worldwide league for the year, and this is the direct way for an international player to make it in. And because this match specifically also was a qualifying match for the top 8. We have to make sure we're doing what we can. And it looks like, okay, so the score is going to be 1-0 to K-Top, but they are going to play the set off stream. So once again, we apologize that this match cannot be seen or viewed, but in the spirit of fair play and having it be the most just respectable we can make it because of what they're playing for, the match will take place off stream to help the connection issues. While that happens, we're going to go for a 10-minute break. Please don't go anywhere, because as soon as that match is done and dusted, we will be right back with loser's side to see who will be the second player to make it through. So again, we apologize, but we'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Injustice 2 Intercontinental Championship, where we inevitably have some updates. When they played off-stream, Do Basic versus K-Top, that win did ultimately go to K-Top. It was a 3-2 result, so we'll be seeing him in grand finals. And he has, in fact, qualified for the Vienna finals later in a couple of weeks' time. That doesn't mean Do Basic is out of the cup by any means, but to maintain tournament integrity, they played off-stream to minimize lag. We heard from Do Basic the connection was much more tolerable, so they did play under way more confined circumstances, which means up next it's actually going to be our top 4 match between H-Dope and Irakio. So this is a match for losers finals, and we're doing currently a connection test. The players seem satisfied, and we're moments away from going into this next matchup. Sorry massively for the delay. Sometimes these things happen in online competitions, and we've done everything we can to make sure that things are back to normal.
So basically, as a quick breakdown to the way the rest of this tournament is going to go is, of course, we have a top 4 locked and loaded, ready to go. Of course, K-Top is one of our first qualifying players for the top 8, in the sense that he's in grand finals now, which means that out of Irakio, H-Dope, and Do Basic, one of those 3 will take the second spot for whoever it is that makes it into grand finals. Grand finals will be played out as normal, and the winner will be getting better seeding for the top 8 in Vienna in 2 weeks' time. But it really is about just qualifying there in the first place. That is the milestone these guys need to be looking for. Now, this means we can have a couple of interesting turnarounds. Of course, Irakio we haven't seen much of, but has been looking really good with this tidy flash today. H-Dope, we might even be able to see K-Top and H-Dope have like the 2 brothers together will be qualifying as a pair, which they'll definitely be looking for. But Do Basic, the Enchantress mastermind that has just been putting in so much work with this character, might be able to get his run back and make it through, as he is only 1 match away. But for now, it's top 4 loser side, and it's going to be Irakio versus H-Dope for the Flash versus Aquaman. Season 1 matchup in Season 2.
Good God, this is a Season 1. This is EVO Grand Finals right here.
It is.
2017.
Has been a while.
2017. Don't worry, I know. I'm not wrong. Either way, this is going to be a matchup of basically, the Flash versus Aquaman was always seen as a rough matchup, but things are a little bit different now. Aquaman is not as good as he used to be, and as you can see right now, Irakio not having as many problems. Oh my God, absolute deletion in that first round. The grab as well, madness.
I love the way Irakio played around the trait activation as well. We saw H-Dope go for the Aqua Armor just to try and get through, and he tried to press a button straight away, but Irakio just kept pressing. And there's the punish with the Sonic Pound. H-Dope goes straight in with the Clash. Really smart Clash. He's going to take him out of the Speed Force, and he has guaranteed life regeneration if he wants to. But he isn't even going to need it, and just decides to save all 4 bars.
That's a traditional combo breaker right there. He's got 4 bars a meter, but is it going to be enough to save it? Okay, down 1 scoop. Hail Mary, wake up, pretty shake as well. A little bit of a preemptive wake up, to be completely honest. Launch. No, I think that was a back 1-2 that didn't work.
We did see this from H-Dope last time we played Aquaman. His Aquaman seems to be really good in the neutral and just general kind of composure, but his execution really let him down before. Picks these up over and over again. I like the way H-Dope tried to use trait to absorb as much from that Speed Force as possible, but it hasn't mattered. It's just the life. I mean, was there any point in that second life bar that his life wasn't going down in some way? I feel like he was just constantly getting hit for like 15 seconds and then he was dead.
That was a flash game right there. That was, I blinked and missed it. That's game number 1 just like that. Irakio, if he keeps that pace up, we could have the fastest 3-0 we've seen today. Or H-Dope wakes up. I understand the Aquaman debate, because this actually was a horrendous matchup last year. He's going in with it again. We're going to see if it works, but Irakio he doesn't seem phased about the matchup at all.
No, I think Irakio's just he's here to play, and he's ready to go, and H-Dope is already 1 game down, and I feel like already is the word. Like, that was so fast and so quick, which I guess that's just the way it happens against the Flash sometimes. This character is so explosive, and if he is able to just get the ball rolling from the start, then that's the kind of match you might be able to see. Changing the stage though, the Red Sun Prison, good for power characters, but of course, depending on each corner, usually better for keep away characters, I suppose. If you want to kind of just keep people away with the lasers and drones, the power characters just have plenty of machines to throw around. Or another miss on the back 3 H-Dope. He needs to tidy up this execution.
There's the try. Tries to trip guard a little bit with the back 1, but doesn't quite get it. Looking much better in this first game. I feel like it's kind of like what the matchup is, right? The second Aquaman can kind of play that strong grounded game, lock him down. It's not so bad. Nice whiff punish as well. No scoop confirmed. I don't think he quite believed in it. Uh-oh. Yeah, no meter burn. Speaking of not believing, Reiko did not believe in that meter burn at all. Minus frames. Oh, I love the down 2. I actually love the down 2 there because he knows that Flash is going to go for a 50-50 on those minus frames.
Okay, but that's going to be corner carry again. Optimal finish. No, doesn't spend an extra bar. Doesn't want to. Good block on the neutral jump, but no, immediate shift of momentum instantly from Reiko. And again, holds the bar, wants to keep it, and a neutral jump. Neutral jump into down 2. Interesting stuff.
I think he must have just seen the fact that H-Dope was in a position to get hit by that neutral jump once, so he just committed anyway. Either way, meter burns the trident rush. Uh-oh, and there it is.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no, he got a down 1 instead of lightning kick. For error from Reiko, unfortunately. Oh, tries to get through with just a raw trident rush. I wonder if he tried to down 1 at first. What is this?
Whoa,
such tricky corner stuff.
Oh, it absorbed all 3 hits of the jump 1. Good God. Oh, meter burn as well. Down 2. Air escape to try and survive. And now taking the negative situation. Good scout, but no punish. Tries to whip punish, but again, nothing. Doesn't watch out for the overhead, and now he's actually going to win this trade. I foresee no meter spend. He has no reason to spend bar here.
No, he has the trait too. If H-Dub gets opened up by anything. Oh no, unclashable. Unclashable doesn't want to let him clash. Oh, that might be it.
Oh God, what happened there? That was such an amazing way to end the second game. I love the unclashable plays there. Because if you're going to play Flash, you've got to be really good at knowing when to unclashable your damage.
I'm actually not quite sure what's going on there with H-Dope right now, because I feel like even though, like, I mean, Aquaman has been nerfed since the last time, you know, this was seen to be like a obviously horrendous matchup. I feel like this is like, Aquaman still has the tools to make this tough for Flash, like absolutely. He still has the range, he still has the neutral control, he's got obviously the, you know, he's got the Aqua Shield, he's got the trait. He still has a lot of options to still shut down Flash, right? Flash wants to get in, and if Aquaman is playing slowly and patiently, Flash doesn't really have any business getting close at all. But it looks like H-Dub is just getting overwhelmed or just not playing the matchup correctly.
From one Atlantis character to another, it's going to be the Black Manta. So there's going to be a similar game plan here. But the thing is, it's going to be more about the neutral, you know, way more built around, rather than just putting up this fortifying wall. I feel like Black Manta is going to allow H-Dub to go a lot more toe-to-toe with the Flash. That's the big thing here. Now, is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. He has no choice but to take 3 straight games now. And yeah, he knows that Reiko is going to try and interrupt the gap in between that back 1-1 up 3. So he's not going to bother even trying to fight it. He's going to charge out there.
You see H-Dub, he's already showing he doesn't want anything to do with getting close to Reiko. He wants to play this game with full screen. He wants to chip him down and get distance. But the rockets, the missile gets caught on startup. Just like that. H-Dub does such a good job just staying away the whole game. But the moment he gets touched, the likelihood already for Reiko.
Tries to whip
the string.
Yeah, I'm assuming H-Dub was not ready for that string to be finished.
Oh, walk straight into teleport. I like the call out from H-Dope.
I'm actually... H-Dope does a lot of teleports against characters with no projectile. And I do kind of wonder why, because there's no threat. Uh-oh. Never mind. He's got 50-50. Okay, conversion.
That's really nice to deal this combo from straight from Reiko, but that drop has just really hurt him. H-Dope is going to see this back, spends the bar to an extent. Not enough to kill, but there we go. Spends another bar to get the full screen Manta Ray.
Rare footage of the Manta Ray actually being used as a projectile. Uh-oh, that's an absolute whip punish. Yep, 100%. Match point for Reiko on the verge of eliminating H-Dope from this competition.
I find we see that all the time from Reiko though. So as soon as a round start happens, he's got straight, he'll just pop it and just go straight in. Uh-oh, another launch.
Mix-ups. Flash used. Now H-Dope, he's almost guaranteed to win this because Flash players, they're not going to spend their bar here to prevent you getting live. He knows he's going to undo it, go back to the neutral, and now he's got 2 bars to potentially kill this character.
But he can absolutely not hesitate. Oh, the neutral crouch to knowledge, but no punish. Reiko did the hard bit, but this punish. It's not surprised to see H-Dope go for the 2 bar spend there. He's playing Black Manta, right? This character just breathes bar.
That last minute overhead.
Uh-oh.
Yep, combo. Now there's the whiff punish we were looking for. Reiko tries his luck a little bit for the second time. Got away with the finishing the string last time, but not today. Finally going to spend some bar. But even then, both clashes have now been used. So if he opens him up, which could have been here, opens him up twice, but no. This is a bit of a scramble. Wake up for days. Are we going to see Speed Force?
Oh, the teleport actually makes it there. Maybe anticipating the tires, but not meant to be. Catches opportunity here. Launch.
He's going to know that an up in the air jump 3 is not going to be as plus as it could be. Blocked the 50-50, but got hit by the background bounce. Watch out! Oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
No.
How did he not kill him there?
Yes, so careful. Anything on block. Oh, he backdashes the sweep. So everything. Oh, the anticipation, but not in time. That was just absolute a read upon a read upon a read. That full screen charge. He must have just expected a lightning charge from Areiko. He must have expected it, and that was the only reason he would have done that. But Areiko had no reason to be so antsy. Areiko had a considerable life lead. He had resources. There was no reason for him to desperately try and finish that at the speed. But when you're at that situation as H-Dope, all the power to him. Yes, it was a mistake, but it was a mistake that we can understand why he would attempt it, right? But unfortunately, that does mean that it is going to be 3 games in a row. And H-Dope, his IPS journey ends here. There will not be 2 brothers in the finals as Areiko moves on to losers finals, where Areiko or Do Basic, it's going to be one of these 2 guys left is going to be taking that final spot in the Vienna Top 8 finals. And this is potentially going to be quite an interesting match.
This is a scary position to be in, right? Because even though we have yet to play our grand finals of the day, the most important matchup is about to happen right now. It is the losers finals, and whoever wins this gets grand finals. That's going to be top 2. What else is top 2? Oh yeah, qualifying for the Vienna finals. That's what we're looking at right now. So whoever wins this game is going to be joining K-Top in the top 8 finals for the Intercontinental Championship, representing EU East. And it's going to be either Flash or Enchantress. I know there's a lot of players in the chat that are going to be cheering on Do Basic, but with how Areiko has been playing today, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it through because he's such an aggressive character. The Flash versus Enchantress is not a matchup that you see all the time. That said, we do know that Do Basic does actually play Wonder Woman as well. And Wonder Woman, as far as I'm aware, does pretty well versus the Flash. So, and given the track record of Do Basic, who has actually defeated Honeybee in tournament before, he has faced the best Flash in the world, and he has come out on top. So this is a matchup I think he's going to be prepared for. But in the hands of a sick player, the Flash is still a very scary character to fight.
But it does make me wonder if Do Basic's actually even going to go with Enchantress here, because we do know he plays Wonder Woman, but obviously opts not to all the time. I think it's a matchup thing. Wait, has Areiko played? Is he picked Black Canary here, or are we just waiting?
This might be a connection test, or he is actually going to go Flash. He's picked Canary during connection tests before, so we'll just see if it happens. Do Basic going in with Canary as well, I think. And if that's it, there's no way this is a real match. They're doing a test. And that's what they would do.
No, this is a real match, I think. They're basically just talking with their admins right now just to see what's going on. They want to confirm if it's going to be a real game or not.
Enchantress.
Wait, really?
Okay. Now, seeing as they're both from similar regions, it would make sense that these guys have played before. So if this is Firestorm versus Enchantress, I can't say I'd be surprised because it would be a matchup thing. If they've played and this is a matchup they like, it is what it is. Let's go. The Intercontinental Championship for Injustice 2 EU East. One more slot open for this tournament. Is it going to be Do Basic or is it going to be Areiko? The immediate catch. Well, that's a wonderful start for Areiko right there.
They're good catching out to damage as well. So any part in the restand. I'm interested to see how this plays out, because Do Basic, we've seen a lot from him in terms of like just general matchup knowledge, but we've seen Areiko with just Flash today, so we haven't actually seen Firestorm.
That said, one execution character to another. Firestorm still pretty fiddly. Ooh, wake up Molten Trap. No, the wake up Starfish. Interesting read. These are all reads they're having to make right here. Just clipped, not blocking low. Do Basic gets taken out. Round 1 should very much be in his favor for the wake up.
I'm actually really surprised that wake up connected. I don't think Do Basic really had a choice to do anything but that to avoid the death, but also standing one to anti-air. Or was that fireball? I actually have no idea whether that was a standing one or if he got a fireball. It's so close. That's an opportunity. No, Do Basic only alive because he decided to EX the Soul Steal. Wow, Do Basic. Oh! That one wake up that connected earlier on, that he meter burned, gave him enough health to survive the round. That is why every little piece of just optimization you can squeeze out is so important.
Oh, he tries to go for the Trailblazer. Watch out for that.
And again,
God, what's going on? Every ounce of damage Do Basic did there was just this bonus damage.
Oh, okay. Basic a little bit too far away, but then meets burn back 3. Well, that's Moreko. There it is, mock trap. Oh, the vortex.
Can't you see?
Oh, Basic
you have
gets
no
wrong and
chance?
loses wager for it, unfortunately.
No.
Now, Do Basic did do the good thing where he waited to see if he guessed right first and then broke after. You know, don't preemptively go for it. Make sure you kind of optimize your braking when these clashes happen against a vortex character like Firestorm.
Oh, wow. Oh, not close enough to get the combo. This could potentially be a wasted trait for Moreko.
Almost whiffed it. Expecting the... Actually, no meter burn. I'm actually wondering why Do Basic didn't punish that. Okay, there's a confirm. Oh, back 3. Now it's going to be set up central. Here comes the trait. Just trying to get out of there. Oh, just walk it down. Catches him in the air. That's what he wants. And now this is a last lifeline. He's going to use the clash, but his back is still going to be...
Wait, Basic can hurt him, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh.
Basic doesn't have the trait. Of course, because we saw Moreko use his level 3 trait already. Wait a minute!
Oh, you cheeky monkey!
Almost full screen jump in, air dash, empty air dash into landing throw. That was a ballsy move from Do Basic.
But
Like
you know
that literally demanded the ultimate respect from Moreko. And unfortunately for Moreko, that's exactly what he provided. And Do Basic is
You
just
know
gonna...
why?
What?
Oh, but you know why he did it? Because every time he goes for those last-minute cross-ups, it's always a jump 2, which jails into more pressure. He must have known that Moreko, there's no way he is going to challenge that cross-up. He's going to wait for it, block it, and take the pressure afterwards. He knows he's going to sit there and block. Empty jump grab was just the most next level of reads, and it worked a treat.
But this is an important turning point for Moreko. We've already seen that. We obviously know he has a flash, but we do know that Do Basic has access to a Wonder Woman, and I know that Do Basic is very confident against Flash. And I know that Flash can have issues against certain brick wall characters in a lot of situations, and I know that Wonder Woman is one of them. But I wonder if that's the situation that Moreko wants to avoid. He just doesn't want to get effectively hit by Wonder Woman at the end. So here's Firestorm to try and cover both bases.
Either way, that's going to be game number 1 for Do Basic as we go into the second game and see if it's going to be enough. Do Basic's clutch with this character is so insane. I love his decision making. Oh, tries to anti-air. Firestorm, one of his weaknesses actually is his reactionary anti-airs have never been particularly strong. It's one of his weaknesses. Pressure and just a good trade. Good trade, to be honest.
Oh wow.
That was just through the fire and the flames right there. Okay.
That is going to be a great reactionary tool at that back 3. You can make it go so far, and it's so obvious where Do Basic's going for those forward 3s. You know, it's such a very deliberate animation. It's not the hardest reaction in the world, but there it is. The low. Mixing up with the overhead, and again!
I don't think Do Basic was actually ready for that to hit that jumping. But it doesn't matter. Is he going to spend bar? Yes. Okay. And any character, like Swamp Thing's another one, any character that can heal after spending bar, it almost just, in essence, makes the combo do more damage. Because when I say that, the divide between health is still bigger than it was before. So you'd almost like give that an increase in damage just in your favor rather than against them. Okay, down 1. Got to be careful.
Oh, no, doesn't commit. Oh, a throw attempt from Moreko. I wonder if he was just trying to reverse the block down 1. Of course, the special chance was going to catch it.
Plus frames. And he challenged the plus frames. That's very interesting. But to be fair, Moreko, he's challenged plus frames before. I don't think he fears them as much as some other people do. Uh-oh, there's that mix-up. Overhead or low.
Well, there's definitely the balance. You have to make them fear it, right? You know, you can't just get that respect for 3. You have to make sure that they are forced to respect it. There it is, the low. Another catch. Oh, there we go. Transition. We're going outside, boys. Look at him just walking back. Moreko does not want to overcommit to anything. Hasn't pressed the button in like 10 seconds.
I mean, we are within Moreko especially is unclashing territory. Oh, the bait! The bait is so real. Gets the punish. Okay, back 3. Goes in for the cross-up. Wait until he goes in for the clash. Good positioning.
Professor says no.
Not a bad position, to be honest with you, for Enchantress. This is still Do Basic's game to win, in my opinion.
Oh, that max distance. And again, we're seeing that. The reactionary punish.
Uh-oh. But look at the mix-up. Guess it's wrong! And there's the vortex! And the chase down. Excellent read! Bad call on the grab, and Moreko just snatching that win away. That is what happens when Firestorm gets level 3. He saved that up until the very, very last one.
Yeah, and that really is what makes the character so scary, right? Like, he's such a fundamentally sound character by himself, but then when you throw that level 3 on top of it, it's the health regeneration, it's the mix-ups, it's the damage, it's the complete package. It's the whole shebang, and that's what we're going to see this time. And so Reiko able to tie things up. I would be honest, after quite a shaky start, it's good that he's been able to stabilize this somewhat. But Dubasic going to go straight back to Enchantress in a different stage. Be re-random. What are we going to get this time?
Fighters approaching Gotham City.
Okay, another background bounce. Whenever you see a background bounce, you just feel good for Enchantress. I know she doesn't need them, but she gets a little bit of extra setup potential, you know, because of the hard knockdowns, because of the damage extensions. It all kind of feeds into the same machine. That, oh wow,
big call out. Yeah,
very slow too.
Well, considering Enchantress kind of options at the start, it's very brave to go for that kind of overhead right there. Oh, that must have been an imp error. That must have been an imp error from Reiko.
Definitely refuse to believe that was intentional.
Oh, punish! Range! Yeah, deceptively long range when I'm standing one.
Right, there's the knockdown. Pressure again. Not going to see the minion summoned yet. No trait. Oh. Oh. No confirm on those mold traps. 2 times in a row he didn't confirm those.
Oh, the wake up burn Starfish though. Just throw that one in.
It looks like, I do actually, I think that was an element of conversion that he tried to do. And I think he pressed down, so I'm assuming it's the ones where if he spends bar, he gets hurt, I think. Which damage over time. Maybe it's doing buttons, actually.
I'm pretty sure that was the damage v jumps.
Yeah. Reflect.
You can see, like, as strong as those curses are on paper, it's actually deceptively difficult for Dubasic to actually realistically set them up in the neutral because of how long they take in the recovery on the other side. So definitely to be used sparingly. Used to many of them and obviously a lot of damage in the process.
Now Dubasic, he has loads of bar. We have seen him kind of go into that armor in the past, you know, where you kind of trade your health for super meter. So spending one of them to get the launch. Okay, there's the background bounce, back 3 again. Right, are we going to knock down his trait? We do indeed.
Walking forward and being patient. Ooh. Yeah, I think Dubasic tried to catch the recovery of that, but not meant to be. Definitely expected the meat spawn in that molten trap. Starfish. Again, the patience. Dubasic doesn't want to press anything.
Still has the bar advantage. Good block on the last minute cross up, respecting. And now he's expecting him to press down one after that. And there we go, challenges it again. This time he pays the price. No clash. Reiko, he's building on the stun into level 3, I think.
Oh, there you go, punishing the minion activation with the back 3.
That did so much damage.
See it again, he saved the level 3 trait until right at the end. Has some serious health regeneration.
Launching overhead, but doesn't want him to clash. Oh!
Oh, no! Out of range. Firestorm just stared down the weird arm. Not a moment of hesitation. An immediate projectile. Dubasic just failing to thread the needle by just the slightest amount.
That punch just
2-1.
I think the punch just pulled out his nose hairs. It was that close. What the hell was that?
No, just like it trimmed his fringe.
Big oof. Very big oof.
Damn, that's crazy. And
Firestorm.
But now just 1 game away though is Reiko. Reiko's been playing the Flash all day, and here we are now. And losers finals decide to go to Firestorm, and it's 2-1.
Enchantress.
Man, this is one of those make or break situations, right? If Reiko wins this, that is it. He is qualified for the Vienna finals, the Intercontinental Championship. But if Dubasic wins this, he's just tying it up. Like Dubasic desperately needs to hold on if he wants to bring this Enchantress to the top 8. He has 2 more games to win to do so, but it's going to be tough. Reiko's looking really strong.
On a biased note, I'd love to see Enchantress make it into the Vienna finals from just an excitement standpoint. But to be honest, Reiko, he's fought so hard in this loser's bracket, lost the first round, and these charges are definitely not intentional.
No, I think they're just input errors. Oh wow, charges straight through the reflection.
But no, his
wait, what?
What?
Did he just reflect the molten trap?
I'm pretty sure that's what just happened.
I didn't know that worked.
Woo. Almost did it again. Screen that's going to be in Reiko's favor. Doesn't want to stick out too many projectiles, but again, taking the minus frames guarantees one of those hexes.
Wake up, it's already worn off.
Reiko's been so
the molten trap.
Uh-oh, this is dangerous.
Maybe he's already built a level 3 trait. That's the main thing here. Oh, but the wake up! The anti-air immediately. You basically no fear. Spending a bar. Going back to that sustenance. Drain from Firestorm. Punish? Yes, he's in range. Reiko really has to be careful going for those so close. He really is betting the farm on them. Not afraid. Looks like Enchantress has a tough time of chasing down the Trailblazer.
I think so, but either way, we're going to get some more health back. Okay, undone the damage, and ooh, the low. Okay, so patient from DoBasic. To be honest though, no trait in sight. He's using this entirely on reflect and on just solid neutral play. And good buttons. That's basically how he's making this sort of solid sequence.
There it is, more trap, forward dash, instant forward air dash from DoBasic, just trying to close that distance, and the wow, that must have been max range. Don't think that would have connected had DoBasic not pressed a button. He can almost put himself in that situation.
Lots of patience. He doesn't want to give him the reflect. It just gives DoBasic that presence. Doesn't commit to the second hit. That mix-up, both unsafe, but you've got to make the right call. If you guess wrong and you eat the trap, you're full combo into level 3. Level 3 Firestorm is one of the absolute best characters in the game by far. Oh,
interaction. That's not what DoBasic needs. It's going to be an easy clash. There's going to be some guaranteed life left. I don't think Reiko is going to risk spending his only bar to deny this. Probably 2 for DoBasic, yeah.
This is so tense, man. Oh, tries to add the air.
Oh, that's no good. Saving his bar from contesting the clash health just to waste it on a failed anti-air attempt. That's not what he needs.
Reflect again just to establish. Because from that range, Firestorm can't really check. Those mortal traps, they reflect.
Whoa.
Oh my god! Which way was he going? No one knows.
Sure, but more healthy Jeff. DoBasic and catches him out. Reiko.
Uh-oh. Yep, keep it all unclashable. Reflect. Frame.
Oh, tries to whiff punish, but not in range. Oh!
This is so tense. Why is this so tense?
Because DoBasic knows he has got a clash. He's got a huge life lead, but this is now a Firestorm with level 3 trait.
Dangerous health regeneration is going to bring him back into the fight. Very risky forward 3. Could have been disastrous.
Oh, another one. Reiko, he's respecting them, and there we go.
Your soul.
That was huge from DoBasic. Oh my lord!
Oh god, again! The read was correct, but okay. Reiko not really given the chance to clash. DoBasic playing it one hit at a time. It's 2-2 last game. This is a best of 1 for a 1 easy way ticket into the Vienna finals, joining K-Top in the East.
You say easy way, but I would argue to say that to get this point has been the opposite. Like, these guys are fighting so hard to get this close. I mean, but this is officially, and it has worked out in this way, this is officially the worst possible match you can lose in today's tournament. Because God. this is 2-2. The winner of this moves on to grand finals, and win or lose in grand finals, top 2 today makes it to the Vienna top 8 alongside Wazminator, alongside of Gilbags. But because it's 2-2, this will be the last point you can possibly lose.
Oh god. Chat, give me predictions. 1 for DoBasic, 2 for Reiko. I want to know who you want to make it into Vienna. This is ridiculous.
And this will come down to literally a final game. We could not have asked for a better turnaround to finish things off here, as it's going to be DoBasic versus Reiko. They're fighting for that spot in the Intercontinental Championship. And the wake up, Reiko attempts to combo off it, but isn't quite able to. No punish. Both players immediately playing very shaky at the start. I wonder if this is getting to them already.
I am 100% positive DoBasic is nervous. 2 opportunities, but again,
3. Make that 3. Make that 4. 4 huge openings for DoBasic already wasted.
DoBasic needs to wake up. That's what he needs to do. This is insane. He's had so much opportunities to get massive damage, and he's just not taking it.
Uh-oh, Molten Trap. That's a good way to lose all momentum, but 2 bars gone already for DoBasic. Be careful. Oh, the down one attempt. I'm not sure what that was from Reiko, but he's going to pay for it. Luckily, there's no bar for DoBasic to get more health. Ooh. Takes the minus range for a free forward 3. Okay. Doesn't want to challenge too much. Shout. No anti-air attempt either. Very reserved. Down one more. Oh, the throw attempt from Reiko.
That's 2 really meaty cross-ups that he has not seized. DoBasic. Oh, really letting this one escape him, to be honest. That should have been a round, but it's going to go against him.
Yep, and that's going to do enough damage. It's going to be set point from Reiko, but he has not a lot of health left at all in his first bar. One trap. Gone. Oh, back-to-back reflect, DoBasic. Cleanliness. Full screen Trailblazer. I wonder if that was just our read on the forward 3. It had to have been.
It had to be, but either way, that's going to be match point both players. DoBasic. Oh, Reiko. Watch out. That's a stun. Are we going to see mix-ups?
done. Oh, the combo. What is this? Oh no! Overcommits.
I was actually expecting maybe we're going to see a hard knockdown.
Oh, no,
that's not the environment! Dude, that's not the interactable he wanted.
No, he definitely wanted the background bounce. Instead, he got the touch. Oh, the whip punish! Immediately
Can't
do
you
basic.
see you have
This is
no
to be guaranteed
chance?
life back. I don't think Eureka has a single bar to actually contest. I don't think so.
Jay,
No.
how unfortunate was that down one into background? He didn't get background,
I mean,
he picked up the tusk!
I'm pretty sure it's happened to all of us, but not when there's this much on the line. I feel so bad for that. But that obviously, you have to know, once you've used that background bounce, the tusk appears. You have to have that knowledge. Oh, but the Hex! Oh, the anti-crouch! He can't crouch! Oh no!
He just hurt himself, I think. Yeah, beat the Chris down. There's a trap. He hurt himself. Okay, trade.
Oh!
Bad trade.
No, the molten trap hit stun lasted. Kept him safe. Oh, the sweep! Starfish, wake up. Rick has to be really careful. We're punished. No, nothing. Oh, no, he called him out. He called him out. Oh, the molten trap!
Oh, this is going from bad to worse. 12 frames. Has to backdash.
Level 3 trade. This is all he can do. This is Reiko's best chance of getting health back with the chip damage. The minion tries to get over. Not in range. The sword connects. Molten trap. Mia burn. Again, the patience. Oh, catches him. He didn't flash. He went for the Starfish instead of Reiko, but he dropped the combo. This is chip territory and will not matter as Do Basic is able to get the sweep to end all sweeps to move through to grand finals where he will get not only his run back against K-Top, but that all-important guaranteed spot in the Intercontinental Championship Top 8 in Vienna in 2 weeks' time. What a series and what a perfect way to end things.
To me, that was just the clearest example of two players that I think were probably the most nervous they've ever been. You saw every exchange at the end, punishes that didn't go through, combos that were dropped, really fiddly situations where we're seeing punishes with a down one or a single hit, which could have been full combos. That only ever happens when you are shaking and you can't control your emotions. And it's a feeling that so little players in this community can say they've ever
100%,
felt.
100%. Like, straight up, like, we can all see that there are a lot of mistakes made, especially from Mareko at the end there. We can all say that, we can all speculate, but it is another thing entirely to be in that situation, to be so low on life, and you know in your mind, if I lose this tournament is all for nothing. This is the last part. This is my last chance. If I win this life bar, I win and I make it to Vienna. If I lose, I'm out and I'm staying home empty-handed. To be in that situation, to understand that you know that's what you're playing for, all the while playing against someone that is winning and you know as feeling themselves currently beating you, to know that you are so close to winning, but also so close to losing. Like that is a pressure as a player that so little players will ever feel. And to be in that situation is so difficult. So huge props for bringing it down to that close regardless, because that was sick.
Well, either way, that does mean we'll be seeing Do Basic as our second entry in EU East for our Vienna finals in a couple of weeks, where, Enchantress, we're guaranteed to see her. And he goes one step closer for qualifying for the IPS later in the year. Now, this tournament's not over. We have a grand finals to get through. And now, even though both of these players are confirmed to play in a couple of weeks for the Intercontinental Championship finals, this win is still actually very, very important, because whoever wins this is seeded higher in the top 8 tournament when they play in Vienna. So, it's important to make sure that the two players, K-Top and Do Basic, they can rest easy knowing they will at least be playing in the finals. But right now, we need to find out who's going to be seeded higher in the top 8. Seeding is going to be very, very important when you factor in that only one player is making it into the IPS finals through this entire championship league. One person makes it through, and the higher you're seeded, there you go. The higher you're seeded, the better chance you have. No one's going to say no to that. So it's going to be a rematch of K-Top and Do Basic. They fought in winners finals where it was 3-2. Will it be as close now? Or is one of these guys going to just turn it around and completely destroy? I assume they're going to do a connection test first, given the unfortunate circumstances of winners finals. But either way, only one more set is left for the EU East qualifier.
That does mean that we know who our first 4 of our 8 players will be in Vienna later this, in 2 weeks' time, later this month, where we are going to be having, not later this month, it will be early October, 2 weeks from today. We're going to have Wasminator, Gilbags, K-Top, and Do Basic. So we know Wasminator won the Australian Cup, so he's going to be #1 seed from that cup, and obviously Gilbags will be #2. And now we're playing to see K-Top versus Do Basic, and whoever's going to be the highest seed out of these two. So already we have some strong players ready to go, and this is the halfway point. You know, we have a cup tomorrow for Middle East, and we have EU West next Saturday on the 29th. So there's still also play for, and still plenty more players to see what they can do. You know, there's some top level players in the EU West. You know, Middle East has shown this year that they have some strong players also, and we'll wait and see if that happens. I'll be honest, like off the bat, this connection test looks a lot better. So I'm hoping this kind of stays the way it is for the rest of the set, because it was tragic we couldn't watch this in winners finals, and I really, really want to be able to see this one, like 100%.
Well, either way, I feel like we're actually just finished our connection test match, so we'll be loading in now. Thank you all very much for sticking with us. It has been a really, really exciting tournament, but we're going to be finishing things off with Do Basic and K-Top. So one set's going to decide who's going to be seeded higher going into our finals, which is very, very important, as only one of these players makes it into the finals after the Intercontinental Championship is done and dusted. Matchup-wise, Starfire versus, I will assume, Enchantress. Is Do Basic going to make the selection?
You say that, but apparently when they played off stream, K-Top actually played Atom, and we saw that from him last in the European Online Cup too. So
Enchantress.
I wouldn't be so sure as to automatically expect Starfire. Okay. It looks like he actually is going to be going with Atom. Atom is he's a weird character. I feel like there's a few other ways to describe him. He is a bit of a weird one. And since they really demands a certain kind of respect. He's very unorthodox, low profiling. If low profiling could be a character, it would be Atom, and for reasons I'm sure we will see momentarily.
I mean, he's small, isn't he? It makes sense. If there's one character in the game you expect to go under everything, it's going to be the smallest man on the earth. There we go, there's the trade immediately. And he crossed up down 2 though, K-Top being a little bit too cute. Now here comes the presence. Atom though has got a teleport. I'm assuming that might be quite an interesting tactic. Dealing with that trade. Jumps into the forward 3. And there's the reset. Okay, full combo incoming. Knocked down as well.
Oh, I actually went to the other side. I actually wonder if you basically was going for like an anti-interactable setup there. Didn't quite get it. Oh wow, the forward 3 next though. You can say it kind of took K-Top by surprise a little bit. Goes in. Wake up back 3, yep. Burn back 3.
Are we going to heal? Yes, we will. Okay. Evening things up some. Trait, so good. Blocking it correctly.
Oh, not until the last minute.
I feel like when you fight Atom, you can only really block his trait for so long. Blocking the entire sequence, you are a god.
Down to wake up. And again, one of those down 2s that it recovers so fast, and her back 3 goes so far, you can down 2 its back 3 quite reliably. I was expecting that to be reacted. I'm not even gonna lie. I was expecting that 100%. Oh, anti-air with the stomp. I can imagine that stomp is gonna put quite a thorn in the side of your basic though. Enchantress, greatest at stopping it on paper.
Do Basic is wonderful at building super meter. That's the main thing. He very rarely loses a clash. He's very spare with his meter.
Still though, Do Basic looks like he's in a position that he can still win, but it's gonna be tough because KW has that consistent life lead. Oh, but able to get a max range 4-3.
Oh no!
I'm not quite sure what that was about.
There was no jump in normal. He basically just missed time his jump in, unfortunately.
Alright, what a time to make that kind of mistake. K-Top now finds himself with an even stronger lead. Oh! 4-3.
Get back here, little man!
You might be tiny, but that fist is still really big. Oh dear me.
His down 3 goes under the down 1. The challenge on the plus frames, you have to now respect the jump 3. I don't think Do Basic can jump in on that either on a read. Wonder what his options will be here. K-Top's going to get life back. The wake up reflect. Doesn't get the punch. Just gotta watch out. Tries to maybe shot. He tries to, I can assume, anti-air is my only assumption we saw there, but nothing came out. The jump 3 clean. K-Top takes the first game.
I feel like Atom's jump 3 is just it's so vanilla, you know what I mean?
It's like a jumping kick.
It is a jumping heavy kick, if I've ever seen one. Now Do Basic, what does he do here? He's hesitating Wonder Woman. Now, even though he's been playing Enchantress all day, we know he does have access to a really powerful Wonder Woman as well. Which it definitely seems to be like a matchup thing. You know, go to Wonder Woman if the matchup kind of really, I suppose, demands it. But definitely wants to. You can tell he at least wants to try Enchantress in every matchup, even though it might not be a great idea. You know, so I feel like Enchantress is one of those characters that she's so unorthodox that she's inevitably going to have some characters that are hard to deal with. But as a player, like, as a specialist of that character, you're going to want to do whatever you can to play them whenever you can. I've seen K-Top whenever he is in that situation of neutral, just going for that down 3, that low profiling sweep. So powerful.
I mean, I would go as far to say I think Atom's down 3 is the best normal in the whole game. I really feel like it shuts down. Oh, but there it is again, forward 3, come back here.
The second time in this match and the third time in total we've seen that. Insane. It's just such an answer.
I can assume Basic wasn't expecting that jump 2 to connect. He didn't commit to anything afterwards. Maybe expecting a down 3 or something. But either way, doesn't really matter. This has been a crazy good turnaround in the first round. K-Top down 1 into down 3 on block. Very common Atom tactic, to be honest. You always want to press buttons after a down 1 is blocked. But he does low profile.
Forward 3 to Basic. He blocks the entirety of the Atom trait just to drop the combo immediately. Very unfortunate for Basic, but I would say this is an amazing turnaround for Basic overall. Got the trait. Oh no, tries to.
Forward dash. Dude, her forward dash is so fast. He does consistently use that to try and escape the corner. Jump 2, hitting so behind. He actually clipped him on the way back from the teleport. I wonder if that's a matchup tech.
And again, 4th time is a charm. Basic is just determined to not let K-Top whatsoever get around.
No flash
activating that trait in neutral.
He's going to lose the round, but he really does not want K-Top to clash. He has a very respectable amount of bar. Oh, he went right through the demon. I can't say I'm surprised, to be honest.
Oh, another attempt. Oh, Basic going straight into it. Now, even though this is looking bad for K-Top, I don't want to say it's impossible, especially if Basic keeps making decisions like that, and that's going to force the flash out. Now, K-Top surely can't afford to contest this life regeneration, can he? He needs that bar.
Nope, makes the call. Now he's going to try and use those 2 bars to mount a comeback. He's not going to be able to clash given the health he currently has. Oh, there's the spell, but it's not the right one. So he's going to be able to go for those stomps all day. You know, Basic is saying, why can't it punish down inputs?
Oh, and again, the 5th time! 5th time we've seen that stop the trait. But Basic, he's actually still in a position to lose this.
Watch out. Oh no! Oh, he's
all of his bar, all of his bar, all of it, but that's so much. He's losing so much of it. He can't push block anymore.
Don't get hit.
Oh no! No! That shield lost him the game. The shield lost him the game because it took so long to activate. He got launched for free by the projectile. The combo did so much damage. It took him from like 3.5 bars to 1, and then with the shield still activated, he was blocking the Atom trait. That took him under push block territory. So he couldn't push block.
Bad man. That was
literally the most unfortunate time to just so happen to activate that anti-health shield. Literally, that's the first time I've ever seen that move lose someone a game before.
Fighters approaching
What should have been an amazing decision was the biggest mistake. Oh, poor Basic. I genuinely feel bad.
But it has put K-Top 2-0 up as he's looking really convincing to take this 3-0, but it has forced the Wonder Woman out of Basic, so no more Enchantress today. That's the last time we will see her.
He's betting everything on Wonder Woman. We'll see if it works out. But the thing is, Atom is a character that kind of disregards neutral. That's his main strength, that he says no to neutral in general. So you take Wonder Woman, who is a very neutral-heavy, very grounded-heavy character. Atom kind of shuts that down. Okay, there's the launch. We see the back 3. Clean knockdown. Wonderful confirm.
And that's the trait again. That's twice the trait in this one life bar alone has been completely wasted thanks to Basic catching him just in time. K-Top. We've seen him come back from worse odds. Case in point, game 2. Ooh, forward dash from Basic under the skull.
Nice confirm. Excellent turnaround. Basic, he's had wonderful rounds before though. That's the thing. I wouldn't say sit too heavily on this life lead because K-Top, he's stolen it away before, and there's the trait confirmed. That's the one thing he does with that, you know, for those that may not know, if you can go for those really meaty endings of a trait and then you reappear, you're actually not as vulnerable. You know, if you end it right as you land a hit, as they stand up, your trait has already recovered. So that's kind of like the timing that you see these.
Oh my lord! That was so clean from K-Top. It didn't kill, but it didn't kill any of the so that's really unfortunate. But what a confirm from K-Top. Amazing. Wait. Hello? Right. I think you forward relatively large. I mean, obviously. Why wouldn't that happen? Because she's care.
She don't care about no measly figure.
Now, is this gonna work for K-Top? I mean, throw on landing, smart stuff, bring that trait back, but avoiding chip damage from Wonder Woman, that's gonna be so tough.
Now, if K-Top actually wins this...
Oh,
right,
the air shield!
Never mind. Headshot.
Wonder Woman
Now,
wins.
I'm still actually recovering over that forward dash through the interactable skill. That was so insane.
It was a bit unexpected, I'll give you that. Not the most obvious thing in the world. But still, I think the
Wonder
Woman has really benefited from Dubasic.
Starfire.
But K-Top going straight to Starfire, wasting no time. I wonder if this is why Dubasic hesitated in the first place. Because Dubasic was going to go to Wonder Woman after
Fighters
his
approaching
first loss.
Atlantis.
But he kind of hovered over Wonder Woman and then went back to Enchantress. So it's kind of like a, oh, should I do this? No, I think I'm going to stick with Enchantress. But then when he went to Wonder Woman, he won straight away in a convincing fashion. So this could have been 1-1 as opposed to the 2-1 he finds himself in now, in theory.
Begin.
But of course, it has meant K-Top go straight to Starfire.
Now the jump back 3 showing Dubasic that K-Top has no interest in being close. He does not want to fight up close and personal and give Wonder Woman that grounded strength that she has. If he sits in the screen, he has so many projectiles to kind of just keep her on the ground, and even though she normally loves being on the ground, against Starfire, not so much, to be honest. I think if he plays this really patiently, I still think Dubasic can kind of work his way in and kind of crack that armor. I wouldn't count him out by any means. Oh, good God, that 4-3, so active.
Oh, 3. There to air, but no. Dubasic doesn't recover in time. Oh, there's the air to air again. Double jump in. Oh, not close enough to the background.
We have to watch out. Instant jump 3. Okay, Dubasic back in the fight, making us really feel like the Wonder Woman choice was a good choice. Hopefully he didn't go to this character pick too late. Wonderful block, but K-Top he does that quite regularly. K-Top tends to press buttons when he knows he's minus. He kind of goes with his gut, plays by the heart, but it's not always the right choice. That said, it is going to put him on tournament point for another time in a row.
Yes, but I mean, he's on tournament point, but still massively down in the second life bar. So I think it's just going to be tough. If Dubasic can defeat K-Top Starfire, that is effectively his two, I suppose, the characters you could say are his strongest right now, both beaten by Wonder Woman, but it's going to put K-Top in a bit of a weird situation. However, he's managing to bring this one back with a wake-up into a full combo from Dubasic and an immediate clash, K-Top. Do you think Dubasic spends anything here? I anticipate 2 from K-Top and nothing from Dubasic.
Yeah, nothing. He can't spend it.
All 3 from
K-Top. He has to concede. He needs that bar to get in. He needs that bar to do damage. Oh, wow! Down 2 challenges the high forward 2 from Starfire. But a wonderful play wake up. No full combo though. Gets caught by the hair flip. It's going to push him kind of that mid-screen distance now. He has to watch out. Down 1-2. Checks it. Oh! Powers through the backdash. No backdash for you, mate.
Oh, that life that K-Top wanted to get back already gone.
All right, parry buff. He's going to get more damage now. We'll see if he actually has a chance to do it though.
Oh no, Imp error.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted. He actually might have lost the game on that. Put himself minus! Took chip he can't afford to take.
Oh man, that chip was so much. Oh, and the jumping heavy from behind. K-Top with the angle.
Starfire
That's
wins.
gonna do it. And just like that, K-Top, after a very, very, very back and forth final game, is gonna be your winner today. From winner's side, no less.
K-Top moving on. And he's going to be the winner of the EU East qualifier. Now, you know, we can't take away from Dubasic. We'll be seeing him and K-Top in our Intercontinental Championship finals live in Vienna. But this does mean that K-Top has basically earned the highest seed, which means that he'll be going up against what I would assume will be probably second placings from other cups. So this means that K-Top is going to be going into the finals in a better position by 100%. And congratulations for taking the win. I'm glad we kind of were able to kind of sort through the connection problems that he was giving us during winners finals. But it feels like, you know, the resets that took place, we took some time out, and it feels like it did actually sort of make a difference to the quality of the gameplay. And when he played well. He had the right matchups. He played the characters correctly. And, you know, the big thing is he was finally able to kind of go against what he always wants to do, which is rush down all the time. I feel like his Starfire going, he made mistakes earlier in the top 8, being too aggressive when he didn't need to. He did not make those same mistakes in grand finals. And lo and behold, he's moved on. He's now winning this tournament.
Exactly, and it's through a long grind. You know, I know K-Top has been playing since launch a while, and I feel like this might be the time that he can, you know, really finally find his groove. I know he's always been, whenever there's an opportunity to compete online, I know he does. But this is the first time he's really kind of had that big success, you know. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Basic as well for being our 2 qualified players today. We'll be seeing them again in 2 weeks' time in Vienna for the top 8, where now our top 4, our top seeds from top 4 so far are going to be Wazminator and K-Top, and our second seed so far are going to be Gilbags and, of course, Basic. Don't actually think this is the end of it, as of course we do have 2 cups left to go. Tomorrow we do have the Middle Eastern Cup, which will be the exact same thing. Top 8 streamed on this channel, just at a different time. And next week we'll be having EU West. So there are 2 cups left to go and 4 more spots still left to play for, 2 from each. So I do believe that might be it from us for now.
Yeah, I think that's all we have time for. We have our top 8 done and dusted. Thank you all very much for sticking with us, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. Once again, shout out to NetherRealm, shout out to Warner Brothers for producing Injustice 2, because it is a mighty fine game in the IPS. And the thing is, we're reaching the end of the series now. You know, the IPS is now set in stone. We have the last chance qualifier. We have the Intercontinental Championship. We have the closing moments of Liga Latina. And we already have the Northern Arena where Honeybee directly qualified from that. So we are reaching the end of our league. The world's best players are going to be coming together, playing the highest quality of gameplay we've ever seen in the game by far. All the favorites are going to be there. The entire world is going to be covered because of just how many regions this Intercontinental Championship has covered. And I'm excited to see it all come together. But by no means are we finished. We have a couple of cups left to go for this championship, which is tomorrow and next week. So thank you all very much for watching. Cheers to the production guys behind the scenes. You guys are killing it as always. And we'll see you tomorrow for the next cup. Take care.